It looks like the second best of 5 of the day and of the tournament indeed has begun, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. Thanks for your patience. The players are here. Cameras, the spanking new overlay is ready. Such a joy to behold. It's Vortix against Beastyqt, and we've got Beastyqt with the Delhi here against Vortix with the Holy Roman Empire on our first map here, Lipany.
Okay, that's going to be a really interesting. Lipany, obviously, one of the more open maps, we have to say. Still some cliffs in there, but typically not really the map where we feel, okay, we can easily go to Castle Age, easily get that massive relic control. So Holy Roman Empire, I think they will need to make something happen, because we saw how crazy Delhi can be in feudal age if they get everything rolling for themselves.
Yeah, and that's a great positioning, basically, of the expectation here, Neely, because Delhi, they get their target, their victory condition, or let's say the means to their victory condition earlier. They unlock that in feudal. Holy Roman may go castle very fast, but it's still a little bit slower than a feudal victory condition. So first, Holy Roman Empire needs to worry about how to stop, in this case Delhi and Beastyqt's Delhi, to get those sites before being allowed to worry about the luxury of collecting relics. Very interesting. So we may have feudal fireworks coming out from these two players as they contest with battles early. And on an open map like this, they can't just wall and say, I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah, not really. Maybe you can wall a bit with the spearmen, get some sacred site control. Not going to be the easiest thing though, because Holy Roman Empire, I think we could see, well, even big feudal age play with a better economy there. The big question though, maybe if you think the opponent is heavily committing to feudal age, could we see a man-at-arm play with HRE on this map?
Yeah, man-at-arms play is an interesting, little bit lesser explored dimension of top-level Holy Roman Empire play. Generally, the sentiment seems to be that men-at-arms are fairly expensive for having the feudal strength that they represent. Still the same cost, but not the same power as a Castle Age men-at-arms would unlock. And we'll generally see them in kind of finicky situations, kind of I'm tower rushing you, you're tower rushing me, we're fighting over a dock, or Spearman just won't cut it anymore, and I'm going to make a couple of these bad boys. But generally, their resource profile prohibits fast castle rushing. They cost the very same thing that technology does, food and gold. So men-at-arms are possible, but they're outrun by horses, outranged by archers, and they're outcosted by spears. So they beat everyone, but not hard enough, like a Castle Age men-at-arms, and they're costly. So it is possible. At this point, I would go so far as to call it a pocket strategy if we see it.
Okay, okay. Nice pocket here. In the pocket, as you can see, Dome of Faith there being built on the other side. But look at that, Aachen Chapel. Really nice spot, including the gold, wood, and obviously all the sheep in there. And speaking about the men-at-arms, typical counter some archers. Sometimes you take some hits, normally you micro back, and then scholars could be waiting at home, healing up those archers again. And you can't really commit with those men-at-arms into the TCs. So, yeah, delayed Castle Age timing without guaranteed damage on this map, I would think.
Yep, exactly. And, you know, you could do a Minework Palace or even an Aachen-fueled Blacksmith Men-at-Arms rush. We all know the maths. Men-at-Arms have 3 armor in Feudal Age. You can give them 1 Blacksmith armor upgrade, the Iron Undermesh. Now you're only taking 1 damage from town centers, but you're not as fast as a Feudal Knight. You can't run down villagers in the same way. So you really are there, you're taking hits, and you're not getting the same result done really as a Knight. But let's focus on the here and now, and we'll hit you with more theory craft later. We have a barracks coming out here for Vortix on the Holy Roman Empire. A barracks is interesting. We've seen so many horseman battles recently. Barracks, of course, is the counter to horses, and he made it before the stable even gets popped down.
But look at that. Lots of gold for Vortix here. And look at the queue, Grubby. We kind of were only saying, like, okay, not the most likely choice. But in the queue, we actually have men-at-arms.
The pocket strategy. Either I lie to everyone, knowingly, willfully, and maliciously, or I'm as surprised as probably his opponent is going to be in Beastyqt. You, of course, the man of the hour now, you predicted this. Did you have secret info
actually,
or
you
a feeling?
predicted it. You predicted in the pre-talk when you said Vortix hide strategies and has them prepared behind the scenes together with his brother.
So
we're
sick.
both right.
So sick. And he's even kind of hiding the barracks right now. I'm trying to get a kind of a glimpse of where the, well, let's say the scout is for Beastyqt. Will he become aware of this? We've got one scout here. He has a second. He's got a horseman coming out here. He may not be aware of this yet.
Also, horsemen not the greatest scouting radius there. Plus, the barracks are split.
Yes.
So even if you scout another one, you don't think, okay, I need to scout again to find another barracks and check there. Look at that. That's really intention. Oh, double, triple barracks here. What are we seeing, Grubby?
Exactly. So you go to a pond. You're looking to feed the ducks. You see a goose. You're like, oh, beautiful, a goose. You look around, you're like, wait, second goose, third goose, but they're hidden away. They're like hiding behind the fronds, behind the lilies. And suddenly you're like, that's a gaggle. Like, now I'm in trouble.
And they're like, suddenly music intensifies.
Music intensifies.
Push in the corner.
Abruk.
You try to throw your bread at them.
The bread, do nothing. Suddenly men-at-arms everywhere in your base. You don't know what to do anymore.
And look at that. He even hit them in the town center.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that IQ.
And the discerning eye will see it's like, hey, 13 out of 20 in the town center. What a noob. Villagers inside. Then you click it. Garrison in Age of Empires 4 actually shows what's inside. Ooh. You're like, those aren't ducks.
You sadly put your bread away again.
Put your bread away. Get your fishing rod out. It's not the right kind of weapon here for the situation, but you do what you can. Gaggle is descending on Beastyqt. What's he going to do about this? How many do you count? What does the scouter report?
There shouldn't be much. Now the two archers are going away. They're trying to wall in the sacred side. Says Mr. Vortix. And that just means that's such a strong army.
That is 8 men-at-arms. This foe is beyond any of you. Flee! Run!
And look at that in the overlay. Now we see armor upgrade against archers is flying in as well.
Oh, there we go.
Archers won't be a great counter to this.
Wow, there we go. Armor upgrade. Iron Undermesh coming out. Taking him from 3 ranged armor to 4. It's going to safeguard them against town centers and archers. Only horsemen will really be able to scratch the paint on these bad boys. Even as the wolf. Go get him, Logan. The wolf is going after the scholars. Men-at-arms are coming in. That's idle time on villagers, nearly.
No more gold income. Even going for the woodline. Look at that. At the top right, you should probably now see some drop in the mining there. Men-at-arms diving in deep, still controlling this one. This is a great opening here by our HRE player.
Yeah. And every single Redditor Holy Roman Empire player feels vindicated. Every single person that has been spurned on a Twitch chat for suggesting Men-at-Arms rush, that has been shot down mercilessly by their streamers. No, you noob, that doesn't work. They're like, see, it works.
That. 30 villagers, 19 of them idle. Army's trying to hold some way, more scholars spawning. And now look at that. He's putting the scholars out there. And this is horrible for him as well. Scout plus a wolf. He won't even capture the sacred side.
It's capped. It stopped. Yeah, it stopped capping at 5.5 out of 10. Men-at-arms are fighting horsemen. The scholar healing are doing what they can. But it isn't much. We've got all these sheep. The culling is re-beginning. The men-at-arms are going back under that town center. How much food can Beastyqt get under such heavy duress?
Oh, look at that. 14 villagers into the town center again. Maybe trying to focus down the scholars here. No, he just takes the normal fight against the horsemen. But it feels like Beastyqt is holding this one, and after looking at population, Beastyqt is still ahead. What?
Beastyqt's population looking all right, and his villager count is looking suspiciously A-OK. 32 against 31. Vortix, of course, had to save a couple of villagers for prelate production way back at home. He's getting his first couple of villagers now. That's nice for Vortix. He killed 1 or 2 there. Scholars are doing a great job of banging up those men-at-arms, though.
Yeah. It's pretty nice job there. Now, as you can see at the left-hand side, those men-at-arms are trying to run away, not really an option. Under the town center, they can't take the winning fight. And it felt like the first wave did a lot of damage, but the second wave, it felt like Beastyqt already had everything together and under his town center. Maybe I would have liked to see the men-at-arms more on the map control side after that.
Kind of go back, make sure you keep and hold the sides, maybe heal up a bit. Marshal your forces, prepare a secondary threat, something like that.
Horseman switch could have been something, right? We saw Horseman Archer. If you go Horseman exclusively with a great economy that you could set up around your Aachen Chapel, could have been an option.
Not a bad idea. You already had the Iron Undermesh upgrade. You do have 3 barracks infrastructures to contend with, but you didn't have to get any special upgrades that are only beholden to the men-at-arms. These are feudal. No heavy maces, no two-handed weapons. Could have been possible. For another dimension, though, an alternate dimension, that is neither here nor there. He did commit those men-at-arms. Didn't get a lot of villagers. It's not the worst. We've got Vortix on 35 villagers against 33. He killed probably 3, 4, or 5 villagers or so, and he's now expanding to farmland in order to worry about the transition. But Beastyqt, he's got all those eco upgrades, the special deli, and he's periodically held several sacred sites.
Yeah, that's really nice. 200 gold per... No, 150 gold per minute now, right?
Yeah,
After
new
the last
patch dropped Wednesday, guys. Today's Saturday. 3 days ago, patch dropped. They are getting 50 gold more than other civs, and they can cap in feudal with that sanctity upgrade. That's 150 gold per minute. Not too bad. That's roughly the equivalent of 4 villagers gathering gold.
Yeah, pretty sweet stuff there, man. I'm still trying to find something. The scout saw the berries at the bottom. Maybe those 2 men-at-arms are trying to go there, but already 1 horseman there for the defense. Now spearmen being mixed in. I would like to see something in addition to 3 barracks from our HRE player.
Yeah, like 3 stables.
3 stables sounds a lot, but I think double stable is something you could afford, yeah.
Yeah, you want to see something else than just barracks units, yeah? And, you know, theoretically, in terms of the theory craft of the unit counters, absolutely the right call to go for horsemen here into horsemen and archers. Vortix must have a lot of experience in this situation, and he's deeming... Well, I wonder what he's really planning. His current income is looking good in the food and gold department. And it's saying, I'm looking to go castle. Right now, game time is 12 minutes. I'm looking to castle maybe by 14, 15 minutes. But he's constantly feeling forced to make more units. He's getting a nice little attack here with the men-at-arms. And it's not been noticed yet by Beastyqt.
Oh yeah, he's focusing on this fight, needs to micro with those archers. That means he won't ever look at the minimap. Maybe got a notification there, felt like that fight was at the top. But this looks like good clear up for him.
That's a lot of horses. The scholars are healing, the archers are shooting, and yeah, they're not dealing a lot of damage, but with such a meaty equestrian wall there stopping those men-at-arms, those aren't able to do much anymore. The walls are going down, that gold node kind of blocking the sacred site from really having an economical small wall. But for, Beastyqt is like, whatever, we make the wall bigger. And the men-at-arms have been hunted down. They're being killed there in the relative obscurity of that berry bush cover.
Only 4 villagers survive here. That's a big loss. Villager-wise, we can see Vortix 8 villagers ahead. That's pretty nice for him. Something we didn't mention yet. Yesterday evening, we had another meeting with all the players and everyone involved and tried to discuss last-minute changes. And actually, we had a big one, because a daily strategy, including herbal medicine, is extremely strong, and all the players agreed that they don't want to see herbal medicine being researched by Delhi, because they felt that would be a too strong strategy, taking 8, 10 scholars, and you basically generate an unkillable army.
It's really interesting the way that these decisions are unanimously reached between tournament organizer and players. You could imagine that there might be a player who is like, but I based all my strategies around herbal medicine.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's kind of a natural diversity for every player, because you can't one-trick pony a hero here. This isn't you're playing on ladder, you're constantly just playing your favorite civ. Each of these players has gotten here because of one reason alone. They're good with a multitude of different civilizations. And that skill has given them the confidence that a more insecure player maybe would not have. They see this dominant strategy. They all know, with the knowledge of an expert at the game, that everyone is going to use it, that it's too strong, and that while the devs have been making many great patches, not everything is perfect yet. They take it into their own hands, agree with you, no herbal medicine. And, you know, not everyone watching now may have seen that a lot, but we all have. And we know it's a very dominant strategy, spamming scholars. What's also dominant is Beastyqt's army size here. That's so many units, so many horses, so many archers. Vortix is going to call it. He was not able to use this pocket strategy to the success that he had hoped. The initial attack had no real second dimension to it. Not that Neely Horseman switch. That may have been good. He would need more wood, of course. It's not easily said just because you can think of it that therefore he could have done it. But wasn't good enough. Beastyqt rebuffered it with great expertise.
Also, the thing was, for the switch, you need a lot of villagers on food. Didn't really have the natural food anymore. He was going into heavy farming, tried to keep up the man-at-arm production. So double the wood cost with farms and stables, made it kind of tricky. Could have maybe pulled some villagers away from gold, but he only had 2 on gold. So transition didn't come like super natural to him. Crazy defense, though, by Beastyqt.
Yeah, it's a big problem, the next source of food. You're not pro-scouting. You're not really feeling like it's safe to go for deer Gaia somewhere on the map, popping down a mill and a couple of villagers. You would also not be enjoying your prelate aura because you don't really want to bring a prelate that far out into the wilds. So Holy Roman, they like to keep a tight nucleus. Eventually those sheep run out. I noticed Beastyqt had rather many sheep. We should try to count them next time. So even how many sheep you get kind of determines how long this approach is sustainable. And you know that once someone is switching into farms while still in feudal, castle is very, very far away for such a player. So Beastyqt takes a very important first victory here against Vortix. If I had to guess before seeing anything, I would imagine Vortix would be off to a winning start here. But Beastyqt has been getting so much quality practice in. He's risen high on the ladder, really improved a lot, and he was already very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's super confident as well. Like, multiple people are obviously like, oh, there's a big tournament coming. What do you predict? And he like often said, like, yeah, I'm like really good. Like, really, really good. And like, he is not ruling out that he takes the whole thing.
Yeah, neither am I. I mean, any player pretty much here, you wouldn't be surprised to see any of them take it.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got maybe like a little voice that says MarineLorD is on paper thus far the most likely, and then maybe the
It's an S tier tournament, Grubby.
Oh,
MarineLorD struggles in S tier tournaments.
I heard DeMusliM say on stream just straight up, MarineLorD's a choker.
Even the other day, we sent like the overlay for like casters and the players if they had any feedback, and we had a random overlay where it said like MarineLorD being down to 1 against Neely or something, and he said like, "What? That can't be right. Oh, it's an S tier tournament. Yeah, okay, never mind."
He said that?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, the curse runs deep. It's tough to have to be joked about so much to the point where you have to wear it like a set of armor. But who knows? Maybe he will get his break this time, and the ugly duckling turns into a beautiful swan. We'll see. He certainly deserves it by his level so far, but it's a live environment.
Yeah.
It's a live environment. Nerves, the good old nerves.
Actually, that's a good question. Like, all of them have played a reasonable amount of offline tournaments now, right? Yeah, everyone like was really accomplished in their games. So. Probably Mista might have the least experience.
I wouldn't know. He did Age of Empires 3, obviously. He's the one I know the least.
Age of Mythology.
Age of Mythology.
He was like a top 3 player for like 10 years as well.
But how much lance did they have? Probably not too many.
No, he played some other games as well. Like he talked a bit about it. He even, TheMista for example, arrived 2 days early because he felt, okay, he played a tournament once and he didn't really get into the field, didn't get into the groove, and suddenly had to play. So he arrived 2 days early and practices like till late at night.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, comfort level is very important, and you'll be surprised to see actually in how many tournaments that I've seen. And organizers, they have like a plastic chair with a table that's wobbly, and the moment you sit down, the whole thing shakes and monitor shakes. And I'm thinking, did you test anything? You know, we're doing a game of skill here.
Good that you arrived late.
That is good. Did I miss?
we had some changes.
That's embarrassing. But not here. Not here at the N4C. Everything here has been fine-tuned.
At least after Grubby arrived. Or till Grubby arrived.
But they were nice about it, were they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
and then I'm thinking, I'm so glad I'm here as a caster and not as a player.
Yeah.
I would not have been nice about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy with how everyone's taking it, and like everyone sees like how this is. It has this like homemade feeling as well, and everyone is trying to work together, setting their PCs up, and yeah. It feels like a group project, I have to say. Like everyone who came here knows, okay, we are working together for the greater good of the tournament.
That's how I feel too.
Really happy with that. What did Logan do?
take it over for 10 seconds. I need to ask my wife if she can take it out.
Okay. So Grubby's dog is getting a bit nervous here, and he was throwing stuff, and now Grubby is sprinting after that. That's the cue for the production to suddenly switch over to the living room cam. And yeah, but maybe they're already working on jumping into the next game. Oh yeah, I already see the observer being very focused and overlay guy doing some stuff as well. So yeah, lots of info down below. As you all know, Mr. Leenock, the 1-3 set that we already had. And we are jumping into game number 2. Mr. Vortix plays Mongols and Beastyqt is English. Obviously, population at the top is adjusted. Now we are getting so good at that. Obviously, still some stuff to adjust at the start here. And I will welcome back Mr. Grubby. Mongols against English. It feels like Mongols, we have seen a lot of tower rush from them, lots of aggression. But it feels like English, the best counter to that.
Yeah, definitely true. English, they've got their villagers. They can fire bows and arrows back at military units. Every villager in Age of Empires 4 is equipped with a bow, but they're hunting bows. They cannot be used on other civilizations. Everybody knows that. But the English, for some reason,
they're smarter.
Have figured out how to do that. And not only that, they've got that double archery range landmark in the council hall that further aids you to shoot down villagers that are brazenly trying to build outposts in and around your city. So I would say Beastyqt won the draft mind game. You don't know what civ your opponent is going to pick on any given map. To get English to be matched up against Mongols, best case scenario, for still the worst case scenario, you're up against Mongols.
You're absolutely fine with that, right? We feel like Mongols, we would put them in tournament settings like in the 65-70% win rate, English more in the like 45-50%. But in this matchup, they're suddenly rising quite a bit, and you have to be happy if you transition like this matchup with a 50% win chance against Mongols, you're super happy if you're Beastyqt.
Exactly. So let's see if he can build up on that advantage from that first map and he can further his lead to a 2-0, or if Vortix will go for the equalizer. You can see that Vortix has his Khan kind of canvassing the edges of the map, trying to pick up what sheep he can.
Canvassing?
He's finding a good, canvassing an area.
Canvassing?
Canvas, like a painted canvas, you know.
Canvassing?
Oh yeah, because he can. Nice.
Because he can.
I have to put up with this guy. I was afraid this was going to happen.
Yeah, it's not the last time. It can happen again.
Oh, well.
Someone else that I wanted to say, Beastyqt still has his home map, King of the Hill, where we thought he would play English. So we have to go into the draft later on again and think a bit about it. Like, what's he going to play there?
Logically, you would imagine French would be a good rush of a feudal fighting civilization. What if he does something unexpected and brings out... Oh, it's not going to be Chinese or Holy Roman. No. Maybe Rus.
We've seen HRE before on King of the Hill, and in the viewing area, a lot of questions were raised where they felt like HRE, nothing too special working for them, and they kind of felt punished. Well, let's see on this one, Khan bringing home all the sheep, and the big question is going to be, how does Mongol want to open against English here? Is it stable? Is it archer range?
Yeah, it's interesting. I would imagine, and we're seeing that, right? Like he's not doing a feudal, he's not doing a Dark Age rush. This is very useful in many different matchups, but not against English. You're going to go to feudal, and you've got a few options. You can go for horsemen to try and stop the longbows, and you would need to support them with archers to stop the spears. Or you can try to make a big archer ball using that Ovu stone build-up to have critical numbers of archers that do get outranged, but they're cheaper than the longbows because of that stone. If you can get a large enough number, you can use signal arrow with the Khan, get that movement speed, and if any time the longbow army is out of position, you can get the jump on them and kill as many as possible. Or you can play defensive, a couple of outposts, some emplacements, and hightail it to Castle Age. Get a couple of men-at-arms or lancers out to deal with the feudal threat.
Also, Step Reduptors now then kicking in. That could be nice. And you see that, right? The scout sees, okay, you only build an archer range, therefore no early horsemen. And Beastyqt feels safe being out there on the map, pressuring this villager a bit. Obviously, will never find the kill. But he knows, I have like 3-4 longbowmen. Look at that, 5 military against 1 on the field. He can do quite some pressure here. That will be an aggressive tower.
Typical Beastyqt play here, getting an outpost out as quickly as possible. Unfortunately for him, Vortix does have a pretty safe wood line, but fortunately for him, the Ovu is rather exposed. And that's the one he seems to be targeting at this time.
Yeah, pretty far away from the town center. Town center nice in the sense that it is relatively close to the gold and wood line, but that's a weird tower. It feels a bit too far away.
Yeah, it's like that leapfrog style where
Okay.
one tower defends the next, defends the next, defends the next in order to not get too close, risk losing that villager, then you have to send another, then you get down this cadence of villager losses. You don't like it? You think it's too far?
No. It just pains me because that's how I play. I always think that's the best support for my tower and place it there and lose the villager. And then I send the next one and suddenly has double the archer numbers and I lose the game, although I should have the better numbers.
Yeah, it's like
that hurt me a bit how you described how I misplay my games.
It's like the dilemma when you're driving up to a restaurant but you don't know the parking around, and then you're thinking like, I'll just park right in front, but you don't know if there's any space there. You see a gap now, but it's a long walk. You're like, I could put it here and it's safe, and then I'll have a bit of a walk. That's what Beastyqt is doing here. It's like putting it in safe parking, no rage, fighting for spots, and you're like, nah, there's space in front.
Yeah.
Oh, he still lost his villager despite all his best intentions. Maybe the Neely route was better.
Well, at least it would have not hurt that late. But let's take a look. Scout tries to now be the Khan of the English army here. Look at that. Goes to the front, tries to scare those away. And Longbowman, obviously with the range advantage, should be pretty good in microing here.
Yeah, I think the longbows killed about 3 to 4 archers. Beastyqt managed to do that. Vortix, for his part, was able to kill the villager, I think about 2 longbows or so.
That's reasonable.
Definitely Vortix should be happy that the archer ball that he made, and is continuing to swell right now, has paid off to stop that first tower. Beastyqt has been well illustrated playing in such a manner. And yeah, stopping that first outpost is absolutely crucial, Neely.
Yeah, obviously plus 25% attack there, and that's just so good. The fight, we would have seen a fight. Beastyqt would have taken that one, and he would have won that significantly. And now another villager being sent. Behind the scenes, we saw a stable being built, which obviously really take Vortex by surprise, because that's not really what we think the typical English playstyle is going to look like.
Exactly, and it's just one stable. It's not the Mista style council hall into 0 longbows into double stable with 16 farms. This is kind of a nuanced approach here. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Vortex has a second scout.
I would be really surprised, yeah. I thought we had one military for quite some time.
Yeah. So no second scout. His Khan is being used actively. It's being engaged for vision, for signal arrow, and for the Raven. That means that currently Vortex is playing in the blind, using only what he can infer from the army that he sees. So this stable is going to remain hidden for a long time. The only way Vortex could guess it is by his spider senses, seeing the longbow army hasn't swollen enough that there aren't any spears. And what did you see there?
A double stable switch as well, not next to the OVO, to hide it potentially, to be sure that it goes up. And another defensive building there. I'm not sure if that was a pasture or a tower, but look at that. Next tower leapfrogging forward, and yeah, double pasture there. Doesn't want to go too far out of the range of his town center.
Yeah, very interesting. A horseman switch by both. Very much staying in that feudal, neither entertaining dreams of stealing away in the middle of the night with a castle and using superior units. Quality. No, both are focusing on the quantity, on the feudal aggression. Meantime, Beastyqt, he's setting up shop. He's picnicking here, he's unrolling his goods, getting his marmalade, his jam, and he's buttering his biscuits. And Vortex, in the meantime, is thinking, hey, that's my base, that's my ovu, that's the stone. He's going to be able to work on producing those horsemen, but the stone will not be able to be leveraged for that double production. So, essentially, Beastyqt has for now eliminated and paused the racial advantage of the Mongols.
And Beastyqt is picnicking. I'm nitpicking. Look at the gold of Vortex. He's floating close to 600 gold. That could have been like 4 horsemen if you just distributed them a bit differently with another stable.
Feels like a dream of a different game. Befitting a castle rush game that is neither here nor there. Now, by the laziness of leaving those villagers on gold, he's able to maybe get some upgrades, do some unfavorable marketplace exchanges. Maybe it's a kind of way for him to diversify his income because he doesn't have enough food, and he's like, well, this is a renewable source of energy and resources. I don't know, but the attack is breaking out. Vortix, he's going hard here with his archers and with his horsemen.
Oh yeah, now he's sending some of those longbow men into the tower, but only 10 can fit into those two towers. Scout at the front there as well. Heavy losses here for Beastyqt, but at least 10 survive. And, well, we saw some units die as well. And Beastyqt can't be too mad with that. Also has arrow slits on that tower.
Arrow slitted towers, deals more damage and has more range. I don't think he's got the armor upgrade yet, the double health.
No, he doesn't.
Does not have the bonus health and torch damage protection yet. Still, that's a significantly powerful tower. Vortix is running more units at the problem, has depleted his food supply completely right now with units. And he's going to break that tower that is in such a good spot. He'll be happy to break that one down.
Oh, sends those longbowmen in back again. That's a bit weird. Patrick won't be the greatest. Plus 25 food, plus 25 gold there for the Mongols for killing a building or setting it on fire. But horseman numbers now looking really reasonable. And it feels from distance the English player still fighting some aggression. Slight population lead for him.
Wow, great job by Beastyqt here. He's not just crutching entirely on the defense of those outposts. Whoa! Villager, cheeky villager got an outpost here. And it's not hitting anything too critical right now, Neely, but still, it is controlling in space there, an area. In the meantime, let's not forget, he won the main melee as well, fighting mostly under network of castles, exactly what English wants to do.
And as you mentioned, like now we have basically 2 dead resources for Vortex. Floating 700 gold, floating 400 stone that he can't really use. He's mainly going horsemen. Just imagine 1100 resources put into something else on the map.
He could be rich. He could be rich and using that, putting that into an investment, but it's just sitting in an old sock right now. Can he find a different ovu? Actually, that ovu was the better one all along. I think maybe it's where his town center spawned. There was one ovu directly in vision and he went for the one he saw rather than waste time scouting for it. This always was the better ovu location. He just didn't know it. He didn't scout that way. But he's got a fallback point, let's say at least. We'll be going for that ovu. Could have maybe done that before to make a bit cheaper and more horsemen. But that is in the past. Right now, he's got to worry about the present. Nice position there by Beastyqt, harassing the backline with the archer and the horseman force. Another villager comes by, like sheep in the night. No, ships. Ships in the night. They pass each other. Horseman did not see the villager.
Oh, we'll get another aggressive tower, and that's where we have both the gold spots. That's where we have the secondary woodline, but the counterattack is coming in. Now pressuring the gold here. Villagers are trying to run. Obviously, town center helping out quite a bit. Pulls quite a bit of villagers there from the woodline to help with the damage output from the town center.
Yeah, in terms of armor upgrades, they are there. So these horsemen are only taking 2 damage a pop, but the English town center fires twice as fast. So all in all, those horsemen are getting ouchies. They're now going for the villagers on the food here. Getting a few kills. The Khan comes back as well. Vortex is actually equalizing villager counts a little bit in terms of those villagers. 38 apiece. It's really close still.
I question if that was worth it. It felt like 3 villagers went down and he lost like 6, 7 horsemen. Now this fight could have been brilliant for him if he had 6 additional horsemen there. Could just dive in. Archers are dying in the back. Longbowmen are doing a good job of focusing them down. It feels like enough horsemen here for Beastyqt. It's tough to call.
Really tough to call. It's a nice defense here by Vortex. So many horsemen and there are no spears here. I do believe he has a barracks at home. Beastyqt, but he's not been able to reinforce this for quite a while. He consigned this expeditionary force to death once he went on that north side, but he achieved quite a lot, I would say. He's forced Vortex off of that wood line, forcing him to relocate. That's idle time when villagers are traveling. A little bit of eked out advantages, but Vortex is resilient. He's made a large horseman force, and now Beastyqt, he's got to be forced into passivity. Yes, you can counter horsemen with spears, but those spears are slow and will serve a defensive role. And Vortex can finally go to H3 with that gold that he had been stockpiling like a dragon.
Yeah, and he might stockpile a bit more in the future because he goes for the step up. It's plus 50% gold income for him. And something that's often overlooked is not only that you get 50% extra, but also you take 50% less off. So basically a 4k gold mine turns into a 6k gold mine.
Yes, exactly. You're generating that gold out of thin air, let's say. It's a larger drop-off of 15 after you pick up 10, or the equivalent with the wheelbarrow upgrade finished. It's an absolutely amazing landmark, and it will definitely help Vortix to perform well, producing much with little income otherwise. And Beastyqt himself, he'd love to go to Castle Age, but he is very far away from that. You can see that he's got Spearman in production, and that's a lot of villagers on gold. In fact, it is more worth it to gather gold now than to find new sources of wood or food. Because, well, let's say food, you can just buy food at a better rate than gathering food right now. That's how good the step readout is.
Yeah, so true. The breaking point is then 150 food, where it's break even. After that, you kind of want to think. But also, like, you already have the gold there. You can obviously have those very protected. Now Horseman trying to find another attack there. Spearman popping. But that's more idle time. And I really fear for Beastyqt. When will he ever reach Castle Age here?
Well, Beastyqt is in full defense mode now, but he knows time is working against him. Even now, Vortix might be making a monastery, setting up for the basically the late game, getting some relics. Or he might be eschewing the monastery altogether, go for a couple of barracks. Or he could be going for lancers. He doesn't really know. That's the situation right now, and it's all he can do to try and hold on for dear life.
All he can do and all he does is what Vortix is doing, because he's indeed going for the monastery or prayer tent, triple barracks, still some lancers in the queue.
Just do it all.
And and what can an English feudal age player really do? Like, yeah, he can defend on some lancers, but then you overproduce in spearmen to deal with them, and then suddenly the men-at-arms arrive.
Then the men-at-arms arrive, and longbows still punch through that men-at-arms armor pretty okay. But add 2 armor upgrades, and suddenly feudal longbows even are but toothpicks, basically. Toothpicks to a giant. That's the situation we're headed towards, but let's see if Beastyqt can rally. He knows what has to be done. He's gathering resources fairly rapidly, 900 food per minute, so he should be able to age up in the next minute or so. White Tower or King's Castle? Some people may be saying, well, this is a situation for White Tower. You need the defense. Then again, King's Castle is also defense. And what point is defending when your income is so much lower than your opponent's? What are you defending?
I think I'm more into the direction of all-in. I try to go for the keep
White
there.
Tower.
Try to make something aggressive happen. Maybe get 2 Springles out, maybe a Mangle or something. It just feels like your Castle Age timing is so behind. Mongols will have all the map control. If you go into late game, it won't be looking pretty for you from like minute 20 till 50 if you're English here.
Though I hate to actually ever vote for a 1 town center into White Tower, I think you're absolutely right here. King's Castle, definitely the preferred one in pretty much almost any situation, as it even serves a defensive purpose. But let's be honest here. Vortix has been on step readout for minutes. Are you really going to come back into that just because you can make 1 extra villager every 20 seconds? We're light years away from each other here. Beastyqt needed to do more damage with his initial attack. He was unable to do so. It is going to be the Neely and Grubby unapproved King's Castle, I believe.
If it goes up. If it goes up.
King's Palace.
Oh, look at that. That's so many villagers dead here. He can't finish that one.
Yeah, that's game. This is an exposed King's Palace, a hopeful one. A comeback against someone that already has you outmatched, outgunned in economy. We just heard the ching-ching from the relics being picked up by Vortix. It's we're watching the final moments here, I think.
Yeah, not impossible. Look at that. Setting up himself up for the late game, denying the Castle Age. Has so much going for himself. Relics, something we didn't really take care of. Basically 1 relic spawning close to the base of the players, and then 3 in a line in the center. More Lancers finding kills over and over again. Spearman coming over for the defense, but look at that. Macro on point. Lancers being pulled away while the men-at-arms are arriving at the front.
Yeah, nice knight control there. Vortix really getting his money's worth. Men-at-arms are coming in. Longbows are trying to hold their own, hold the fort and defend. But the floodgates are open. He's throwing buckets of water out of a boat that is already at the bottom of the ocean.
Not really the greatest scenario. And as we can see, Men-at-Arms just ruffle stomping this one. And Mongols, we said they could struggle a bit against English, but we felt English, they couldn't play like their massed longbow spear protective game. The switch there into Horsemen didn't really pay off.
Well, it was a close battle, right? Like, add or give 4 units to either side, and it might have tilted the other way or tilted away super hard. For a moment, it looked kind of close, and you know everyone, of course, is struggling against Mongols. They got that bonus stone generation, double production. Had Vortix thought, yeah, I'm just going to deal with these longbows with only archers, and I'll go one stable horseman. It might have worked out, those horsemen. If one more tower came up in a crucial location, it might have worked out. I'll say it hinged on fairly small things, but once Vortix did break through, then it's like, it's the floodgates.
And the big fight that we had at the top, where we had the longbowmen and horsemen fighting on top of the second ovo, that was not under the influence of the towers.
Of castles.
Yeah. So I think if we had a tower there, it would have been completely different. Maybe switch around a bit because he still had that sneaky villager, right? And then you go to the edge of the map, loop around, and then you can pressure the second woodline because you already pushed him away from one.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, and you're also highlighting how English are this. They are this civilization that gets punished the most for being out of position. They have no Yam aura. Their archers are slower even, despite the extra range. They like entrenched position with the network of citadels bonus that they have. If you put an army out there on an island, they're marooned. They don't know how to hunt for rabbits. Like, they want to be connected to everyone else. And you know, he did that. Maybe a misjudgment about just how much, Beastyqt could, just how much Vortix could already have. Beastyqt had his army there. Would have loved to reunite it and make a bigger ball, but it never quite worked out that way. And Vortix pounced on that army very well. And now we have a 1-1. That's great.
Yeah, that's really great. And Vortix, picking Dry Arabia, he still has Hill and Dale, where I feel like this could be his go-to map where he's super strong. But HRE already taken from him. So that is like the big question mark still that we had. And English taken for King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Like, this is not our typical straightforward draft where we predict what the ships are going to be.
King of the Hill, English, Hill and Dale, Holy Roman Empire. They can't.
Nope.
So what's Vortix going to do there? Delhi is banned. And Vortix isn't very well known for his Chinese play. You know, it's interesting. There are these heroes in MOBAs that only specialist players will pick them. They think like, this hero, I know this one. I play it a lot. And then nobody dabbles at them. It feels like Chinese is like that. They're the most complex civilization in Age of Empires 4. Don't really dabble at them. You're like, what's an Imperial official do again? Like, how much damage does he have? No damage. He doesn't heal. He's a special multiple modifier kind of unit. You've got like tax routes in your head. You've got like village uprisings against those taxes. You need to figure it out. And if you haven't seen someone play Chinese, you're generally not expecting them to play it very well. Leenock is a specialist, used to be a one-trick pony with Chinese, and then diversified to be able to play all the other ships as well.
I think we are starting to get unfair towards Leenock when we call him a one-trick pony, because that was 2 weeks ago, or in Leenock time, 1,500 games ago. So
no, he had been playing French months ago too, but yeah, the guy works hard. It's impressive. He's got a great work ethic for this game. I was surprised even to see how much he cared to make it to this event. Some of you may think it's a little extreme, but I don't think so. He said, N4C or die. And that's inspirational, I think. He had that in his title for days. I'm so glad he qualified. I love the guy. Right? But that's the kind of commitment that he puts towards this tournament. He made it.
I'm not sure if inspirational.
He's getting emotional too, guys.
What might be inspirational could be how they try to maneuver the King of the Hill game here, because it's going to be French, a civilization that we could see work because they're so good with their mobility and with their early French knights. But Beastyqt kind of feel like a really good counter with their spearmen and camel archer options.
Yep, camel archers reduce that horse damage, of any kind of horse damage, by 20%. Spearmen, double range. Can kind of catch you by surprise. I don't think it'll catch Beastie by surprise, but from how long they can skewer and stun your cavalry with that brace mechanic. So that's interesting, but you know, that does beg the question. Hill and Dale, what are the top 3 civs there? Top 4 now that Delhi is relevant.
Yeah, I thought maybe Beastyqt could have been an option for Vortex. I would have said that as well. That was also on my mind. So maybe he goes for something like crazy, like French. He could still go for Rus. We still have China. So
Yeah.
I think I feared when we had that map pool that we would transition into too many HRE mirrors on Hill and Dale, but that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen already. Players are coming in trying to surprise each other a bit, not just going with the de facto ladder pick for every map, just taking the best, the most obvious thing. No, they're throwing curveballs here, but they're good at catching as well. The score is 1-1. This is game number 3. King of the Hill, Vortix against Beastyqt. And, you know, Abbasid Dynasty, they like to get their second town center. But do you think it is realistic to take a YouTube build order here for a fast second town center, 5 minutes, pop it down against Beastyqt?
Do you have a maybe build order guide on your YouTube?
I've got a build order guide on youtube.com/follow Grubby, and I do have one.
Well, let's leave
Don't go
Vortex.
Write it down for later. Thanks for asking. But no, is it going to be a 5-minute second TC, or do you think Vortex should get feudally responsible and have an army?
I think you just lose so much control of the map, and basically French get so much control over you. They can go for 3 nights and you can't move out. They could go for 12 nights, you can't move out, but don't get the scouting in and suddenly die as well. And then they could switch into men-at-arms afterwards. They could go into rams even. We have seen even French players, after having all this map control with the early French knights, go into an archer push. And Abbasid would lose so much control, so I think you have to open army and only then start thinking about the second town center.
And do you dare to dream 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, pop down a second TC? Or do you just completely adapt? That's for Vortex to answer, but I do agree with your analysis there. When Age of Empires 4 first came out, everyone was trying to figure out the most clean, lean second town center built, basically, where people said, yeah, you know, this is an economy game. Expand your economy first. It's the best thing. But it actually takes more than 5 minutes to pay off usually. And the bridge between 5 to 10 minutes, a lot of bad stuff can happen there, which Beastyqt would be all too happy to inflict upon Vortex. So let's see what it's going to be. Beastyqt's got 4 villagers on gold. And I kind of like to use this mnemonic device. The amount of villagers on gold as feudal is being prepared is roughly the amount of consecutive nights that you could expect.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you have got 2 villagers on gold, then you'll have a bit of a surplus, not nearly enough to support non-stop night production, but you can get about 2 out. If you see 7, there's going to be 7+ nights. If you see 4 villagers, there could be 4 nights, but it could also be 1 or 2 eco upgrades, 1 or 2 nights, and then an upgrade like pro scouts. So kind of it's a trick. It's not perfect, but it kind of helps. And we saw Beastyqt has about 4, now 6 nights. So it's probably going to be quite an aggressive game with plenty of unit production.
Then explain to me why with my build order and 9 on gold I can't afford 9 nights.
You don't have enough food.
That's the problem. Okay. Also something I wanted to mention. French, they get a dream scenario on this map if they get a keep next to the sacred site, because then you can build all your production around it, you get control over that area, you also obviously get that gold, you can behind the scenes even collect some relics. But if we get to the scenario, center of the map, castle or keep for French, it's close to game over.
Yeah, true. A great checkmate move here. And well, we're getting kind of an answer here about just the route Vortex is taking. He's going for 4 spearman, hardened spearman upgrade, and that is just enough to cover 2 areas. 2 spears in one crucial area, and then 2 spears in another. Enough to stop a singular knight. And he's getting stone, and he's getting wood. The game time is 5:30. This kind of build can pop down a second town center at roughly the 7-minute 30 mark, which is the new nuanced way to expand against French. And then it's up to Beastyqt to say night archers and rams, or knights into Castle Age with keeps, with the red palace on the sacred side, and what have you. We shall see. But the spears are in good position to defend against the first knight. Vortex on top of things.
Yeah, pretty solid stuff. Beastyqt behind the scenes getting professional scouts, already has wheelbarrows, so really economic approach, and it feels like he's already thinking about the stuff at the bottom. And yeah, those knights won't really find too much, as it seems. Town center should go up. The big question, though, what is the transition going to be for our French player behind this? Should get enough food, still lots of villagers on gold, has the blacksmith as well. Now drops some more houses, tries to get some scouting. NTC spot seems like at the top. Maybe the Spearman can find some kills. Gold spot, indeed, one option at the top. And he builds the TC next to the other TC. Not his initial plan, but what he will settle for. So maybe needs to build another mill later on. Knight, still only one knight. And that's what I said early on. It's so tough to get in a good idea, to get some vision, and French can dictate the game. The Abyssal player has to be reacting for at least 5 more minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It takes about 5 minutes for a second town center to pay off. A little faster with fresh foodstuffs, which is, of course, that unique civilization specialty that Beastyqt has. It's a lot faster, actually, that it pays off. Maybe 3-4 minutes. And Vortex has a very nice, safe build order. Not losing any villagers to the knights, having 2 spears in location, not over chasing. Note how he's not over chasing and making sure that he stays to protect as spears are slow. But another knight comes in, Beastyqt, the puppet master, controlling left and right. Nonetheless, Vortex is more than his match and is keeping everything safe.
And more knights are coming over, so we'll go for at least 4. We saw that Chivalry is now coming in, has the archer range, scouts prepared as well, and it's double archer range. So we will see lots of feudal age army from our French player.
And pro scouts. Scouts currently asleep at the job, but they are doing the carcass retrieval. This is a very multitask heavy approach here for Beastyqt. Imagine that. He's got knights in 3 different locations. He's making infrastructure at the same time. And he's ordering 4 scouts around the map, shift-clicking on deer back to the town center, while continually choosing where his villagers go to. Age of Empires 4, it's a game of a massive amount of multitasking. You could always be more efficient than you are.
Oh man, yeah. And we see the masters of multitasking here for sure. Archers now coming over though will be the big question what they can achieve. No gold, no stone taken here. Right now the base is really compact, and the big problem, something we don't really think about too much if we only think at our first idea when we talk about King of the Hill.
Yeah.
But wood lines are running out pretty damn quickly. You have 2 small wood lines and those will be under threat pretty soon.
It's really interesting, and in a way, you know, this map can feel brutal when you're out of wood. But there is plenty of wood on the map. You're just expected to walk the gangplank, to walk the tightrope, a scary route to that wood. You look at that mini-map, you see on the left side, Vortix stowed away in a corner, but not blessed with a wood line behind his base. Oh, actually, there are a few trees. It's about 1,000 plus wood or so, but the big pockets of the forest are more exposed, and he's got his villages here. He's trying to hide them. They're going to the berries. I don't see any spears there yet, Millie. If those knights catch wind of that, a droplet in the water, those sharks will be right on top of them.
Oh, and he finds the villager. That villager will give him the indication, though, that that's maybe more for wood. But look at that. The knight is running away, and he will find those berries. Uh-oh, this has to be the next target for attacks.
Yeah, now that he knows, he's going to be targeting that for sure. Horsemen, of course, are a little bit faster than knights. They're able to chase those knights down. That's how horsemen and spears are a good counter against knights and archers. The knights are now diving the town center. It's not immediately noticed. 1, 2, maybe 2 villagers fall. Maybe it was just 1.
Reasonable reaction for sure. Spearman not being split. That's a bit of a surprise to me. Now trying to break through there, and actually pretty easy wall off.
Yeah.
If we look at the top there for our Abyssal player, look at that.
Yep.
Already walled off. Another thing in our discussion, we thought about banning villagers. Chopping 1 tree to get through those walls.
Yeah.
But decided to keep it in the game.
Yeah, and to be clear, there's a bit of a history here. It was LucifoN and Vortix that also came up with that. We had tournaments where people do the usual walls that are understood to keep you safe at various times in the game. You can bring a villager, cut a tree next to the wall 4 times, and if you're lucky, that's all it takes. If you're unlucky, you need to cut 1 more tree, and you can simply walk around it. Sometimes it feels cheap to have such an investment in a wall nullified by something that doesn't cost anything, that doesn't fight, that doesn't interact with the wall. It's fair game. It's in the rules. We had the option to strike it, but every player found that although it can feel cheap, there are counterplay. You can do second wall partitions around it. You can kill the villager while they're working on it. They kept it in the game. So it is possible. But this was still a really cheap way to wall off for Vortix in the north side of the map. And this I did not expect, Neely. Vortix has a massive amount of stockpile food. Let's say that this is not the cleanest all-in. And not every ram attack is an all-in. But for him to take back the fight in a feudal fashion, that surprises me. He's not setting up for a fast castle or anything like that. He's doing a ram attack. And the target? Archery ranges.
Archery ranges being killed means those spearmen become stronger, and he's only targeting those archers. Let's take a look at that. Now reaching Castle Age, we don't have any barracks set up, so that army is not too crazy. And look at that, pretty massive attack here in Feudal Age.
Yeah, and what's Beastyqt's first reaction? Textiles, getting villager health. Suddenly, he's the defender. Look at the rest of his production queue. There's nothing. He's not getting any upgrades right now for his knights. He's got 4 wood. While gathering 0 wood right now. He can't get any upgrades from his school of cavalry. He just reached Castle Age and he's unable to use it nearly. What a great timing attack by Vortix.
Oh man, he was floating like 500 wood and they pulled everything away from wood to get to Castle Age a bit faster, but now that's problematic. Look at that, those spearmen for so much idle time. Gold could be exposed here at the bottom as well. Horsemen, they're going for it. And Ram still happy to do more damage.
Ramming away, got 1 archery range, going for a house here as well. Usually I don't find house to be a good target after you killed so much, because there's nobody living in that house anymore. He's 50 under 70, that was not an issue. But let's praise Vortix's double town center empowered feudal as he sniffed out Beastyqt's ambitions and found them wanting. Beautiful, chef's kiss.
The most beautiful thing is actually happening behind the scenes. Look at the minimap, Grubby.
Walling up behind this.
Fully walled player.
Why wall when you are the upper dog on the battlefield?
Because the opponent wants to counterattack. You already had villagers.
Desperate. You killed villagers. The only way you're gonna lose is if those knights suddenly gain critical mass. You were a little bit too eager, threw some units away. He's already inoculated against that. Now he can age up himself. He is aging up himself. He's got bank behind this. He's preparing counters. Those counters are unscoutable. Is it barracks? Is it knights? Is it men-at-arms? Spears? Beastyqt doesn't know, and he's got almost no way of knowing. Though I will say some of that infrastructure is under the precipice of that cliff that is looming over Vortix's base. But Beastyqt got hit hard in the gonads here.
Absolutely. 45 villagers against 63. And that advantage should just increase. Look at that. Maybe some more villagers could be dying here. And now we go full barracks. And then full infantry with some siege from Beastyqt. French are not having an easy time to deal with that.
Not at all. Vortix brought out the Abbasid dynasty. One of the biggest winners of the recent slew of changes. Their age up a little bit faster. Abbasid dynasty was already shaping up to be a pretty damn good civilization. And then when they got that faster age up, those berries, suddenly, potential unlocked. Vortix is proving himself to be a master of it. Build order is very important with Abbasid dynasty, but I really want to credit the timing of his attack the most. It's so easy to fall into patterns where you say, second TC, step 2, defense, step 3, food and gold, age up.
And that's what Silly indeed said, right? I said he will
do the same thing.
I said he has to sit back and has to see what the French is throwing at him. But he is so good. He sees the window. He saw the timing. Did major damage.
He had 1,300 food in the bank. This was not practiced ad nauseum against an AI, where he says, if I see signal 1, 2, 3, then I go all in. And guess what? My villages have been allocated in the perfect way to support exactly this much production. No, this was a man trying to do his best with the tools that he had, knowing as he made his painting, it's not perfect, but it's going to sell for millions because art industry. Right? He's 1,300 food. But I know the time is right to put this out there. And he attacked with spears, horsemen, and ram. Basically took Beastyqt down, the coup de grace.
Didn't we just see a villager at the top? If we look at the army from Beastyqt there, did he send a villager with that one? I think he did, and now tries to go through the wall, and we discussed it earlier. That is allowed. Army is now coming in, and those farmers did not finish those, and we will see some losses.
Finally, those berries that he remembered. He couldn't forget about those berries. Finally, he's there with his knights, cutting through and killing villagers. We have a villager count of 70, and it's dropping fast. But is it going to be enough? Beastyqt does still have that castle age. He's had it for longer, and he's got a guild hall that is mustering resources. What is it mustering? Food, stone, gold?
Well, a bit further down below. And gold is the
140.
choice.
Okay, so he's been...
Oh, that's so exposed though, Grubby!
It is! He's killing villagers. Beastyqt is starting to have a small chance to get back in there. His upgrades are looking good. He's always had that wheelbarrow upgrade. He's more represented in the blacksmith upgrades as well. I'm almost starting to believe.
It feels a bit like it, right? Population still 20 behind, but still, again, French mobility, French control. He can make stuff happen. He forced a lot of villagers away from those farms. And look at that, wood income basically non-existent for Vortix.
Yeah.
It's not looking too pretty.
Of course, Vortix is gathering up the stone for a keep. And if he aged up with the culture wing, which I do believe he did, he's going to be able to get those healing keeps. An actually incredibly powerful upgrade that allows you to heal all your units up, even siege, under the safety of a keep. If he gets a keep right here, right next to the site, protecting the berries with the stone that he even now has, that might be curtains for Beastyqt.
I would have said, yeah, look at all those villages. They can easily build one, but it feels like the army of Beastyqt is slightly stronger there. MarineLorD didn't get a single shot off. That was expensive.
Like the rock rolled off of the catapult mechanism and killed the operator. Like, yeah, no, he did not get a shot off. He tried to slowly turn about, but the Knights already burnt that thing to the ground. Manga now costs 600 resources. Nice pick off for Beastyqt. And again, starting to kind of believe. Beastyqt has his own walls up, and he momentarily denied the area of space where a keep was most predictably going to come down for Vortix. Meanwhile, relics slowly being collected. Beastyqt heading towards 800 stone himself.
And then the big question is, where is he going to build that keep? We said very likely in the center of the map. You could also build it around your archer ranges and stables to benefit from that reduced cost option there. Not an easy choice for sure. It feels like with all the stone that he's still gathering, 400 stone per minute, maybe he even goes for double keep.
Why not both? As you shrug and you think big. Possible. Make one at home for the reduction and the safety fallback point, and one here. Meanwhile, Beastyqt starting to create crossbows. Spearman for Vortix will do nice there into crossbows. May seem weird, but they don't take any bonus damage from the crossbows. So Spearman can kind of work to absorb some of that damage. And they're both making a keep here, actually.
Are they though? Are they though? I only see one player making a keep, Grubby.
That's right. That's true. And he's taking damage. Okay, he did cancel it fast. If you cancel it slowly, you lose more and more stone. You get refunded less. They're like, well, this is used. You've obviously used this. Trying to bring back a table to IKEA, and there's like scratches on it and stuff. It's like, no, I didn't use it. Like, yeah, you used it over the weekend. You had a party on
like
this.
me after N4C, after trying to return all the PCs and
all the
screens
plastic
and
chairs the players didn't like. The PCs.
That's a toothbrush. It's unpacked. Well, I didn't use it.
It's a hygiene product, sir. It's like, but I didn't use it. Why didn't you believe me? So that keep did get refunded, pretty much all of it. And Beastyqt is starting to get a kind of good position here, Neely. He's gathering hella stone. So many villagers in the center there. And you said it. When the French, they get a foothold here on that keep, it can be fearsome.
Whew. And honestly, this is a tricky stay-matey scenario. Oh, he
canceled
canceled the keep and is now building his more aggressively.
And he's like, I thought of a better location for this. That's a lot of villagers. We'll take them but a second.
What? No!
Oh.
Third keep cancelled.
You're hot and you're cold. You're yes and you're no, Vortix. Come on.
You're no and you're no.
Are you in or you're out?
Well, he's still in the game, and now look at that beautiful thing at the bottom left. The sacred site counter is activated. 9 minutes,
fancy.
45 seconds to go. If we still see our player and the Beastyqt trademark with the big stone walls controlling that sacred site, when it's 0 seconds, he wins the game.
0. Wow. Just like that, huh? And
so easy.
But does he have all the sites? I know he has that one, but does he have them all, Neely?
Well, it is the specialty of King of the Hill, where we only have one sacred site. So yes, 1 out of 1, it's all of them.
Maybe Beastyqt can even get his H4 landmark here eventually. The Red Palace, that's when you know that there's going to be a slappening. Because the Red Palace does not take no for an answer. Up, 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 up. One more.
Oh no! Quick walls in time. Your army cannot get over there. Now the sprinkles are useless. This was beautifully done by Beastyqt. He gets so much map control, buys so much time for himself.
Can just go around. The Mangonels are. Mangonel backstab!
Let's see if maybe he quick walls. No, Mangonels have to shoot, right? Yeah, okay, he doesn't micro there.
These Mangonels.
But that keep is useless now.
Yeah, you know, if he had built it in the second location, this wall could physically not have been there. But Vortex's hesitance. But let's say one thing though. Vortex knew his Mangonels are so slow, he sent them ahead. We'll catch up later. We know this fight is going to shift in position, and they've gone around the side already. And Vortex, it's insane. He's had this big villager advantage, nearly, for quite a while. For quite a while, he's got a big population advantage. How can a 120 supply opponent hold off 175 opponent?
Well, with stone walls, with buying yourself time, right? Some people say, nearly, how many resources are in Age of Empires 4? And a fool would say 4, but it's actually 5.
Walls?
No, time.
Oh, yeah! Thinking in 5 dimensions here, guys. Nearly. Time definitely on the side here for Beastyqt. 7 minutes and 30 seconds. That's the resource that Vortex has to work with. Can he bring about to bear this superior economy, or will he run out of time?
Okay, some ramps now being prepared, and yeah, obviously villagers are not finishing this one. Maybe you could even go for the starting base. Thing is now Vortex, he kind of feels, okay, I'm so pressured and the timer is down to 7 minutes. He feels, okay, I have a good economy, but imping is not really an option. I think he might even go for the main base and only then attack the center. What do you think about that?
Landmark rush! A debilitating economy destabilization rush? Is that what you're thinking?
Ooh.
Do you attack into Springled Keep? Or do you say, hey, cute win condition, bro. I've got a win condition too. The devs shipped this game with 3 win conditions. Builds a wonder. No, goes for the landmarks. It looks like it.
And yeah, Beastyqt is going for the 6th resource apparently, and he tries to go for it all again, and they build just so fast, it's ridiculous. Mangonel's not even getting the shots in. Rams are moving forward. Springer's blocking the entrance there, and Beastyqt buying himself quite some nice time, moves back his army, and the big gap is dwindling.
Let's see, can we see how much space is above these walls? How many more segments of walls could be placed until the landmark? It looks like he's actually giving up on that line. He thinks, yeah, this is not cost efficient. I build 160 stone worth of walls. You break through in a single point. Vortix getting closer and closer. Beastyqt popping down a keep.
Uh-oh. All those villagers are at the bottom.
Oh.
MarineLorD could maybe get a shot off there. Okay, now some 4 villagers are joining the party. Could be a big shot here, villagers.
There's like 25 villagers. He's finishing. He's losing villagers, but at this point, he's protecting his loss condition, while his win condition is effortlessly rolling forward.
But that's an army that's really tricky to replace for Beastyqt. Yeah, it's only 4.5 more minutes potentially here, but if that is getting cleared up, all the villagers are dying, the army is traded off. I think it's way easier for Vortex to muscle up another army. I think 5 minutes might be enough for a massive center attack afterwards.
It would definitely be a shifting of focus. 5 minutes is starting to feel kind of tricky here, Neely. He's making more springholds. His rams are under attack by knights. Beastyqt, you hound dog. You absolute naughty person. Going with this victory condition here on King of the Hill. I thought he was down and out. I thought he was drawing it out. Now suddenly Vortex is thinking, do I go mid? Do I keep pushing here? You've got keeps everywhere.
Yeah, that's tricky, and we even had boiling oil, so you can't put your infantry under there. Rams going...
Not for long.
Yeah. And... oh, another keep! Beastyqt, he's like the defense master here. Let's take a look. 3 rams moving in. More springles as well. Mangonel's in the back for Beastyqt, though. Cavalry's coming in as well. And this, I think, might not be the best protection of those poor rams.
Oh my god, springles are firing away at each other. We've got about 2 apiece. Nice shooting there, but it looks like actually, Vortix was spreading his shooting. It means that he loses the Springle battles. There's 2 keeps here. There's Burning Oil. Burning Oil has already activated multiple times on these men-at-arms and spears. Vortix is running out of time. Suddenly, he doesn't think it's realistic anymore to be able to get the 3 landmarks. He's now moving from a rock to a hard place.
But he also forced 2 keeps there at the bottom, right? Just imagine if Beastyqt had more time. 4 keeps at the center would have been a bit different. Lots of wood floating here for Vortex as well. Would love to see 7 more rams.
What is shooting down this Mangonel? Springled emplacements, or Springled indeed? He was caught in the crossfire here. Mangonel, Springled, Rams. You've got the ideas, Nilly, but we're running out of time.
Uh-oh. 3.5 minutes to go, and infantry going in kind of the wrong direction. Where will you group up? Where are you trying to go? All of those are hurt as well. And look at that, Beastyqt doesn't even care. Sends everything in the middle. The strategic masterpiece here from our Serbian.
Yeah, Beastyqt. This is sick. He was brought down to like 10, 15 villagers less. He lost villagers even as his opponent was buckling down for a massive economic advantage. Vortex struggled to find a keep timing and location. Upon losing the center, it truly becomes apparent that this map was aptly named King of the Hill.
And he might become the King of the Hill. Rams now coming forward. The big problem now, we lost all the Mangonels, we lost all the Springles. That means Beastyqt's siege becomes so much better in defending their keeps.
At this point, it's not about Springles anymore for Beastyqt, though he is still well endowed in the Springle department. At this point, Mangonels will be the key unit for Beastyqt, and ever more keeps. I wonder how many he has right now. We've got 2, and a 3rd one is being made. Don't say that's a 4th one, Neely. I'm scared. Okay, it's just 3.
Whew. I was scared as well. But 3rd keep here, and that's just such a nice defense. More villagers being pulled. Beastyqt is still 30, 40 population behind, but it just feels his army value is so much better. The keeps are helping out. The Rams not protected too well, and Vortex is trying to go for a last dance. The Springles are defending from the back, and it feels like Beastyqt is holding this one so beautifully. What a great game.
GG, Beastyqt takes the lead again. 2-1 with a sacred side victory.
Oh, and look at that smile. He knows. He pulled something out of his head there. He was a solid, like 50% of population behind it. I think it was like 120 against 80. He was 30, 40 villagers behind. But suddenly those stone walls, the keeps, what a nice usage of the map.
Can't be too happy with that. Everything for Vortex worked out, Neely. He got his 2nd town center up. He lost barely any villagers. His defense was ironclad. He held on. He came to Beastyqt's base. He got BC on a useless castle age timing. 1,800 resources tied up into something not helping. 0 wood and 0 wood income. He was killing and idling villagers. How did he let this get out of his hands? And how did Beastyqt crawl back from the grave and is like, tripped you? Lol.
Yeah, just using the terrain, using the winning condition of the game. We have to think, if this was Arabia, it had to be a Vortex win.
Very likely so. But like, isn't it even better he was able to wall off? On Dry Arabia, he wouldn't have been able to. Knights would be a little bit more disruptive.
Maybe they have the counterattack.
Like, would it not be even even worse for Vortex? I wonder.
Use the terrain. It's
but
just like
the sacred sites. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like the winning condition there with the one sacred site in the center. Also, you build the keep, have the villagers next to protected gold, 8k gold veins there as well. That's pretty beautiful for you. I think the breaking point for Vortex was this indecisiveness with his keeps. 3 cancelled keeps.
I think you're right. And we don't call games a throw. That's up to players themselves to vocalize or characterize it in such a way. This was a take-back, a comeback by Beastyqt. It's a very impressive display from both. And yeah, probably that's where Vortex lost it. He's going to look back at this most likely and say, no matter how ahead or behind I am, that sacred site must remain a point of contention. I must continue to be able to exert an aura of influence there. Because while 10 minutes may seem a lot, it can be gone just like that. Yeah. With a little bit of delay here, a bit of that. That sense of timelessness that you sometimes have in an AoE 4 game where you're like, my superior economy or mechanics or late game thinking or siege control will eventually win out. All of that is out the window with a timer like that. And that's why it's so nice to have this unique map and this unique experience we've been tabled with.
Beastyqt just flew in with 100 gifted subs.
Damn.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the show. Obviously, N4C, heavily driven by the community and great people supporting the players, the streamers. Otherwise, this would not happen. Thank you so much. So we have Beasty playing, Beasty gifting subs. And now we are going into the home map of Vortix, Hill and Dale, without the
Okay.
option of HRE.
No Abbasid. The other most popular civs here are Delhi and Chinese. Delhi is banned. So what is he going to go towards? He can go.
Oh, remember the best game of the qualifier was actually, I think, Vortex? No, it was LucifoN. It was LucifoN against Capwatch, where LucifoN intentionally picked English on Hill and Dale.
Yeah, and they do this sometimes. Vortex and LucifoN, they pick English where English has no business being. Like when they went for English on Boulder Bay and did Vanguard Men-at-Arms Rush in Dark Ages, you know. Let's just try. They tried it out amongst themselves in their inner cute little meta. It worked. Didn't work on the grand scheme of on the grand stage. Well, let's see. It might be English with Vortex. You never know, but it might be something a little bit more predictable. The ever stalwart French, or perhaps he's been practicing Chinese.
Let's see. They had a lot of time, right? And that's the special thing about this tournament as well. Like, normally we have tournament after tournament, but this one, like, with it being an offline tournament, we had to have a break between the qualifiers and the actual main event.
To book flights, if anything,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And, like, check stuff. For example, small side story. On Saturday of the qualifier, basically, or, like, of the Leenock's day of the qualifier, he told me he didn't have a passport.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, he's never...
I went completely bananas. And he said, yeah, we'll only take 2 days.
Well, that's true. I once lost my passport while I was in Korea after a night of too heavy drinking. Either I got robbed or I lost it in the snow. And we were like rolling around. You know how it was in the Four Kings. Anyway, I had to stay in Korea for a bit longer. I had to delay my flights because requesting a new emergency passport. It was pretty simple, actually. Though they did lecture me and say, you know, this is not like ordering a sandwich, you know. Yeah, like I've been lectured, but yeah, it was not too difficult. Still, that must have given you some anxiety.
Yeah, it's like he could have saved me at least like 1.5 heart attacks if he just had a passport before. And like on the day of the qualifier, telling me, by the way, I don't have a passport, but it will work.
That okay?
It will work out.
Damn.
That was ugly. But yeah, I put the trust in him. He organized everything, and now he's here. Won the first set, and Beastyqt and Vortex are hoping to join him.
If whoever makes it here has a chance of meeting Leenock in tomorrow's
Winners match.
winners match of the Swiss round. Very interesting system. You'll constantly... It's kind of like the ladder matchmaking personified in a group stage in a professional, tournament curated setting. If you win more, you can meet other people that won more, and vice versa with the losses. But let's talk about the civs that we see here. It's game number 4 of the second best of 5 of the first day of N4C, a $100,000 tournament, the very first offline tournament for Age of Empires 4. We're also happy to be here. And Vortex went with the French on Hill and Dale. He's playing as blue on the east side of the map, and Beastyqt as the red. I know it's a bit confusing, but we don't know where they're going to spawn. He's in red, Holy Roman Empire, here on the west side. We're going to see how they're going to play things out, Neely.
Indeed, we will. And obviously, Holy Roman Empire, the main civilization that we have often seen. And Hill and Dale, our observer, actually had quite a headache. And he said it took him a solid 2 hours to find 20 suitable maps for Hill and Dale. I told him, prepare some maps, because obviously Age of Empires generates with random maps.
Yeah.
But we are trying to pre-select them. So we had the observer looking at them, I looked at some, we had Drongo looking over them to see how are relic spawnings, how are woodline spawning, and as you can see, we feel it's kind of a T-shaped relic there, and that kind of felt like very reasonable, maybe a bit more wood towards our player in the red, so then it's kind of even in that sense, and yeah, pretty beautiful stuff. And we have to look so closely at relics because Holy Roman Empire love to get relics. They could potentially get a relic into their Regnus Cathedral, their landmark aging up to Castle Age. And typically, a relic gives 100 gold, but in a Regnus Cathedral, 300 gold.
So nice. They can only put 2 in it. Oh, they can put 3 in it, yes. They can only put 3 in it, and then well, if you have a 4th or a 5th, you can put it in an outpost. You can put it in a keep. But when does Holy Roman Empire ever get that many? Probably they've already won the game when they have that many. The tipping point is whether you get 1 or 2. If you have 1, pretty solid, worth the landmark. It's good, but it's not a win condition. Once Holy Roman Empire gets 2, and let's say within the first 12 minutes of the game, they're generally said to be in a good position. And 3 is almost a win condition unless you die within the next minute or so. So that's going to be the job of Vortix here in the blue on the right side to try and put so much feudal aggression to keep Beastyqt away from those relics in one way or another.
Yeah, we see actually a professional scout play here by Vortix. So that's going to be interesting. Oh, that scout is really ambitious next to the town center. Okay. Fires another angle, and this won't be the craziest aggression, but scouts are harassing quite a bit barracks to deal with that aggression. And French, so much liked on this map because they have a strong feudal age, they have the mobility, and could do really well in denying those relics for HRE.
And let's see how that works out. Vortix does not get to have his gold and wood line in the same place for the Aachen Chapel, but he's gotten as much gold as he can for now. Beastyqt. Beastyqt, of course. Yeah, it's the orientation. Beastyqt doesn't have his Aachen Chapel in the very best place possible, but he's gotten a bit of gold. He's got 306 in the bank. It's interesting to see whether he had like a specific purpose for that gold, or if it was just kind of steadily plodding onwards to an eventual Castle Age amount of 600. Does he have, I want wheelbarrow, or I want a blacksmith, or I just want to get to 600, but not so fast to the point where it's feast or famine, I've got no units. And I think it probably is that, where he wants some, just 4, and try to get to that point.
I'm a bit surprised that he didn't add a second prelate there. I don't think the Aachen Chapel will actually reach that gold.
No, it's not at all. But then again, you know, a prelate, 100 gold. It makes every villager worth 1.4 villagers. He's got 4 on gold, so he's going to get 1.6 extra villagers out of that prelate when it is at the gold. A prelate takes the production time of 1 villager, so 1 villager on gold extra would be a 5th, and the prelate is a 5th and another 4 out of 10th. It's not that good when you consider he costs 100 gold. It starts to really become worth it when you have, let's say, 6 villagers on a node. For 4, generally, it's not really worth sending a prelate for it. And I guess that would just delay him even more to a Castle Age. Right now, Beastyqt is working on walling every single side, trying to get his walls up. There's 3 openings, a tiny one in the front and 2 larger ones on the side. That's going to buy him time for Castle. It's a classic. How will Vortix deal with this?
That's the big question, right? Professional scouts are coming in, spearmen for the defense. We have to see some archers to deal with those, maybe early men-at-arms, but it just feels like, okay, they're not out on the map early enough, and you kind of have to camp the entrances now. I wouldn't even hate to see the French player send a villager out, maybe wall some areas, get some better control, maybe some outposts, maybe even add 1-2 scouts just to get more vision, because you want to keep your opponent at ideally 1 relic or even 0.
Do you think scouts are undermade in general?
Yes.
I think so too.
Especially on high view.
Yeah.
I think just having like 3-4 scouts sitting around with stealth forest around, heavily underused.
But nearly it's 70 food, I can't afford it. I have a stable that's idle. I can't afford 70 food for literal massive crucial information in a game of limited info in an RTS. I think you're right, but we'll look back at this later and think like, shake my SMH. But scouts would be nice. 1 on the top side, 1 on the bottom. See if Beastyqt is
villager for chopping again. Villager for chopping again. But tower already set up there.
Yeah, there's the secondary wall and the tower. Okay.
Can he chop through there? Ooh, that's going to be tricky. Ooh,
oh yeah, he could.
Seems like 1, 2 trees. Oh, that's
Mordor.
Annoying.
Mordor found out that Helm's Deep has 1 weakness. The sewers. Damn you, Wormtongue. Damn you. And Vortix, he's trying to go through there. He needs, what, 3, 4 trees?
Yeah, looks like 3 to me. And love that Star Wars reference, obviously. And Villager trying to get through. Okay, goes for another tree. Okay, so maybe it's even a bit more. And look at that, resources looking pretty good for Beastyqt. It clicks up any second. On the other side, Vortix feels a bit all-inish, and Villager going back, you need to micro that one very carefully.
You say bit all-inish, carefully. Vortex would probably accept that and even take offense at your shyness. He's like, what do you mean, a bit? Of course I'm all in. I'm super all in. I'm going to try to stop those relics. The thing is, Beastyqt is working on that. His walls have sufficed so far. The question is, can he still get out, though? Can he get out there and actually pick up those relics? He's positioned well for it, but you and what army?
Is there an option?
Yeah.
No. I'll take the question back.
There is not apparently. Of what?
I tried to create a scenario where we only wall and actually think about getting Imperial Age. But I think your economy simply is too weak here for the Age area. I think you have to go for Army and Castle Age here. The big question is more, do you go Knights, do you go Men-at-Arms? And we see triple barracks, we get our answer.
Okay. He has to deal with the archers and the knights, so it's a mixture of spearmen and men-at-arms. There's quite a lot of micro to be done for Vortex to deal with such a relatively brute force army. It's not something that easily pushes out and gets the relic. Depending on the micro and the awareness of Vortex, this could be... he sees the Castle Age now. This could take quite a while for Beastyqt actually to get any relics. And you see the positioning of the relics. Minimap. 3 towards the north half. 2 in the center point. Bit more favorable towards Vortex. So Vortex knows this top side. This is the one that you could most easily get. And I'm going to protect it. I'm going to ram it. Look at his economy. Vortex's current resource stockpile is so clean, such a far cry from the Abbasid game, which of course was way messier. He got harassed and all. But just really to drive home the point that he's trying to fight right here, right now. He's going all in. And he will be against, of course, veteran men-at-arms eventually. They're not there yet, but he'll be against it eventually, though without the support of the economy of any relics.
Yeah. And the investment of those prelates that already cost gold, so that's going to be interesting. Now we see the Castle Age upgrade for those men-at-arms. Another layer of walls. Look at that one, Beastyqt. He just loves those. So, well, I built a lot of walls in game 3, and that won me the game, but this time archers are around to deal with those villagers. Ram is now doing a really good job, and it doesn't look like Beastyqt has enough there. Will now pick up the first relic there at the bottom any second, but that's still a scary army.
Okay, one relic gets picked up. He goes for kind of a further one. We're at the 11-minute mark. Still a decent timing. He's going for a second relic, and he's got them uncontested. But the knights are coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4 villagers go down already.
30 military against 12 only. That's not enough, and that's even counting prelates that are not really fighting. If you look at the overlay, 2 relics, those are relics in hand, not relics dropped off in a monastery or any similar buildings. So the gold income is not there yet. And look at that, idle villagers forced. That army's not very strong, Grubby.
No, not at all. And he's expertly focusing down the spearmen first. Is Vortex here. And he's killing those spearmen. Now he can start to engage into the men-at-arms. Vortex has found a really nice window here. The rams are coming in. Villagers are chasing. The prelate! The prelate! He's trying to bring home the holy relics. The holy artifact. He's being attacked. His last chance, I feel like.
It felt like indeed. 36 population against double of that. The relic won't go home. Single unit is getting shot, getting out of there. And Beastyqt, quite some fighting spirit staying in this one. Now goes for some repair there with the barracks that took some damage against the ram. Ram still around going for the main town center. But the income, look at that. 0 food. A tickle of gold, a tickle of food.
Yeah. I mean, Beastyqt is poor.
Rewalled.
He's rewalling. Yeah, keeping out the reinforcements, it's good. But, oh God, reinforcements or reinforcements? Am I right? No, I'm wrong. I can tell by your face. Let's move on. Vortex is looking to get the equalizer here to get that 2-2 score. It could be our first one that goes all the way. He's at 70 pop against 37.
Not the greatest protection of the second relic, actually. Look at that.
Where?
It's at the bottom.
Where is
it's
it?
over here.
Yeah.
Basically next to the between the barracks, we have the relic.
And
archers could have protected that.
Ah, yeah.
But Beastyqt gets that. And all of a sudden, remember, Grubby math, 7.5 villagers.
Yeah.
worth of gold income per relic in a Regn's Cathedral. So all of a sudden it's 50 villagers for Beastyqt against 47.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's true. Beastyqt, if he is mining and not forced to be in idle villager mode, and he's got relevant mining sources, he's actually having a better economy.
And an age ahead.
And an age ahead, that's true. The Vortex is working on that console age. He has branched off from the Feast or Famine, all in, balls to the wall, army against, and he's now going for his own console age. That is interesting. This may prove to be a fateful or fruitful decision. Maybe he'll look back and say, no, I should have broken him. Or maybe he says that was the right call because it gave me a transition path. But never count out a Holy Roman Empire player that's got a bunch of relics. 2 in the bank already.
Yeah, so sweet for him. And look at that. Now even the repair really helping out. A lot of stuff is synergizing well. The only thing that we don't really use is the Aachen Chapel. Now the big question is, what amount of men-at-arms do we need to take a fight here? And the question is, like Vortix, if he's advancing to Castle Age, does he fall back? Does he try to take those upgrades and then fight? Or does he dive in? Uh-oh, he's going in for the raids. And army out of position. Now third relic coming home.
That's good questions. We don't know. And he's finally finding the Regnits. You know, it's not entirely inconceivable that those knights just attack the Regnits and try to reset it. It's not being defended.
All the villagers at the bottom. Look at the mini-map there.
Oh.
Fully expanding, and that's very likely that those villagers will be completely exposed. And look at that! The Royal Knights, they know there have to be some villagers.
There are none.
We want to kill villagers. None offered.
We were told there's some pillaging to be done here, but there are no villages. So if Vortex had made a Neely scout, in the south side of the map, he would have been aware of the situation, but currently he does not know.
Ah, those Neely scouts could have won games.
I'm gonna make more Neely scouts. I feel collectively embarrassed for myself and every player that we played the game with 1 or 2 scouts.
Drop off.
Oh, hot drop off! But then we play the game with 1 or 2 scouts and never remake them.
Yeah,
Shame.
Yeah, honestly, like, just think about it. Like, if you take one better fight, it's already worth it. If you would see one raid a bit earlier, if you save one archer in exchange, it's already even.
It's like those games where people are booming, they got 120 villagers but no textiles. It's like, really? You couldn't save 1 villager and make that upgrade instead?
Well, sometimes we are cutting the wrong corners there.
True.
Also, really nice move there. We said Beastyqt really exposed at the bottom. Not anymore. Completely walling off there his small base. Now chasing this away. And 3 relics. And that's where you kind of said, this is kind of the winning condition for HRE.
Let that fester for 2 minutes, those 3 relics, and it starts to become the very comeback that, you know, the very strategy that you try to prevent with that early relic denial. Vortex is actually kind of running out of time. He is in Castle Age. I know, there's equality there. He's got a cool army composition. I see those archers. Hey, cool helmet on those archers. Those are veteran archers, yes. And there's knights. They're veterans as well. But it's that income. It's insane. Look at that, 900 gold per minute. He's not got a single villager on that. You add that up with everything else he's got, we're looking at 1,500 resources per minute for Beastyqt. What does Vortex have? Same thing. How can it be 60 against 37 villagers? It's those 21.5 villagers worth of gold income in the Regnit. So they've drawn even there the main strength that Vortex presently has. He's got the bigger army. He's got 32
crazy.
Population against 18, and it's worth more. So he has to leverage that right now.
And typically we say, okay, maybe the French player with their mobility, with their cavalry, can find different angles, can find different attacks, but not really an option. Everything is walled. You're kind of forced to push into the one direction where we have the 4 barracks and also have the advantage of constant emergency repair. I think you already repaired like 2,000 HP into that barrack.
Yeah, I think so too. You're right on that. Like, that barracks never fell. What? And those villagers, they're down there. They're not harassable. Now he's feeling confident enough. Not sure this is the right goal. Beastyqt goes in with his men-at-arms. Mostly just men-at-arms. No spearmen anymore. Those men-at-arms have heavy maces. They're doing +6 bonus damage to knights. Everyone remembers those YouTube videos by the testers. I believe it was Age of Noobs. Can men-at-arms beat knights? Yes, they can. They actually cost-efficiently beat knights. And they absorb archer shots real easy as well. We have 2 armor upgrades. That puts them at 6. Those archers are doing 8 damage. 2 damage a pop. They have 155 health. How many shots is that to take them down. That's like 78 shots to take down a man-at-arms by an archer or something. That's insane.
Arbaleteers now mixed in here as well to deal with those men-at-arms.
That helps a lot.
Indeed, extra damage there, and French love that. And look at that. That's an interesting. And that should not be knights. That's a weird scenario, right? Because knights are actually not good against arbaleteers and knights. This has to be horsemen.
That's true. Knights still get countered by Arbaletier, even as they kind of counter Arbaletier back by their mobility and their general all-roundedness. Horsemen counter by type. They counter Arbaletier hard. Though they do have to contend with the melee armor that Arbaletier can get, but it's still not enough to give Arbaletier the advantage because they don't have any bonus damage modifier into a horseman. Would be cool to see Vortix just absolutely pump out 10, 20 horsemen, veterancy, double armor upgrade. Could be good.
Yeah, well, let's see about that. And now we see also the speed upgrade there for the men-at-arms. Horsemen are flying in. Going to be tricky. Still 100 population for Vortix, 60 for Beastyqt. We mentioned multiple times how crazy good those relics are. And also something we didn't mention, military upgrades. We have 2 military upgrades for Beastyqt, only the armor against range units, and 6 military upgrade on the side of the French players. So his army, pretty well equipped.
Love that overlay that we can see these things. No one even has wheelbarrow. This upgrade has been collectively trending up in the entire Age of Empires 4 playing community. Everyone is coming up with fancy schmancy wheelbarrow builds. They don't have it. Neither one of them. Would it be worth it economically? Yeah. Do they have the money for it? Yeah. Why are they not getting it? Mental taxation. If you've ever played RTS, you'll know what I'm talking about. You need to only look at your own games. Everyone has this. And he wants his own games. We've all been there. Easy to see it from this side, but that's the kind of game we've got here. And yeah, what an overlay. And Vortix, so many upgrades. He's got a big army still. He's transitioning. He's got a couple of Arbaletier. Where's that horseman flood? We need the Rohirrim.
We have some there. Also like 4 stables. They make it 5 stables. Again, at the edge of the map, it just feels like so far away to scout those. But looks at that 50 population lead. 45 military against only 26. But that's actually pretty good counter units now charging in.
Horsemen coming in. Horsemen do not do well into Knights. Nice buffering there with the Knights by Vortix. Great body block. Even the Ram coming in and playing here. And a combined Archer fire from Archers and from the Arbaletier. And look how he's putting Arbaletier to the front. He's like, yeah, I know this is not the job of them, but they still have 6 melee armor instead of, what is it, 1, 2 that the Archers have. Great micro by Vortix. He's gunned down every single unit here. Even as new ones are coming in, this looks like a critical mass kind of army. Vortix, once again on the offensive, eager to equalize this series.
And we were in the scenario earlier. 35 military against 11 military. We had similar numbers, but somehow Beastyqt found the defense. And now he has even 3 more relics to aid that. So I think, yeah, that wasn't your greatest fight. But right now, the house is getting attacked. There is a mining camp getting attacked. He's still having time if it wasn't for the keep that I just saw.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Finally putting a pin in that and saying, this is actually my base. You were confused. I'm sorry about the confusion. We both spent a lot of time here.
You spawned here?
But you're wrong, and that's okay. You know, sometimes people are wrong and I'm right, but this is my base. And that's what Vortix is doing here. But you are right. In terms of the economy, it's crazy. But Beastyqt is gathering more resources every minute. So Vortix must do this. And finishing off a Holy Roman Empire player, it's one of the hardest things there is. Emergency repair and agnostic mining from the Ragnitz Cathedral. Vortix not only needs to put down this keep here.
Rams unprotected. We saw that before in the Abyssal game of Vortix. Oh, taking quite some damage. Remember those horsemen doing quite some damage against the Ram. 1 down.
Yeah, that looks like how I use my Rams. Not how you want to use them. He's going in by himself again.
Another cancellation of a keep. Tries to rebuild it
Please,
again.
Vortix!
This is the whole repeat of the game.
You keep doing this!
And on population leads. Oh god.
Maybe go for the marketplace first. That marketplace represents the usage of gold for Beastyqt to transform it to others. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that you should always find and kill the marketplace against relic-endowed Holy Roman Empire players.
Yeah, absolutely. It is only 100 wood, but most of the time, if you are the big Mangalore shot here, though, there's actually becoming a big fight if we see Vortix taking this one. But yeah, he has no real intention right now. Just finish the keep and then take another engagement. I think he should stop building range units. I think going mainly knights here is the way to go, no?
Yeah, you'll be faced off against spears, of course. They can get +3 melee armor, which will beat knights fairly handily. But I think arbitrary are still fine. Definitely don't want to make archers anymore. All the wood now must go towards siege weaponries. Vortix, I mean, whether he goes to Trebuchet, the Maginot, or the Springald route, something's got to give. He can't let this get to Palace of Swagia.
Swagia?
It's got swag, you know? It's pumping out villagers non-stop.
Okay, I like that one. Now we even saw a trap being added, trying to deal with that keep here at the front. Keep is researching Springald emplacement though, and that just finished. Let's take a look. Maginot's now trying to take some shots from distance.
Bam.
Not the greatest amount of siege by Vortix now after his 2 rams died.
He's starting to repair that Mangonel. He's shooting, he's shooting at that keep. That's like 100 damage a pop or something. Not super familiar with how much health a keep has. 2,500, 5,000, something like that. I don't know. And the siege workshops are being made here. Once again, confirming this is indeed Vortix's base. But this is a slow roll, though. Like Beastyqt, he may be under pressure.
Villager move. Oh, this could be so good. And those villagers are so exposed. And their way home is really long now as well. Village overchop, drum roll, Grubby. Let me in.
Chevalier!
This looks like Black Friday.
It's like, something's on discount and you're fighting for soft toys and you're hitting each other over the head with it because, the only way to show your love for your kids is to fight other adults over soft toys in stores.
For the same price like yesterday.
Big Maginot shots!
Oh god, there was so much going down, and all of a sudden population difference is only at 20. Now the trap will help out as well. Look at that, so much more control here, even out on the map. Beautiful moves. How does Beastyqt have the balls to decide that he feels a counterattack is an option?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I guess like he checked at his watch. He's like, well, you've been here for 5 minutes. If you were serious, you would have asked me out already. I guess I'll just go explore other options. And he's sending his knights and horsemen. And that's the one thing Vortix has not had to do yet in this game, the entire game. Think defensively.
Yeah, always aggression, right? He had the Rams constant attack after attack. He actually didn't expand that much simply because he also did professional scouts, so the food basically came to him, now farmed behind this one, but now he's the one forced, and all of a sudden population is within the grab of Beastyqt to be equal.
This is crazy. Oh my god, a counterattack ill-prepared is Vortix here in this situation. Now Vortix is like, all right, I'm not just taking your base. Oh, cool, that's the solo POV. Let's take a closer look at Beastyqt's perspective here. This is the madman trying to stage a comeback here. He might just be able to do it. Looking at his army, trying to get some micros in. Boop, pan back to the base. Are we still cool here? Yep, everything under control.
Next counterattack even prepared, as we can see. And yeah, he is happy with that one. Has everything really clumped up. Look at that. Really happy with the trap. And that's something like that I admire so much from him. How patiently he's sitting there and how he has everything together. And he knows right now, it's my timer again. You need to make something happen. I have 3 relics at home and I'm HRE. Where's your attack?
And what Civ advantage is Vortix leveraging right now? He's got a keep, but no stables or archery range around it. He had fast villager production. He's still in the lead there. In fact, enough in the lead to theoretically be economically advantageous. But that's not actually the case. Beastyqt has wheelbarrow. Vortix does not. Beastyqt has unmitigated gold production. Vortix has to find sources of supply. So the economy is similar, and Beastyqt is starting to get an army that he knows how to control all too well. A siege battle here. Nonetheless, the pressure is on. The town center has been partially denied. The Aachen Chapel has been partially denied. Now it's all about battle tactics, Neely.
Yeah.
Who gets a good engagement?
Well, it's the thing, like, you are the defender, you have triple mangle, mass, or 4 mangles, you have mass scorpions as well for the defense here. If the opponent is trying to tag into you, it's always going to be pretty for you. And that's why we see Vortix committing to so much there when it comes to the Springles. Also Vortix now walling a bit at home. Traps doing quite some nice damage. Whew, this is a big setup for a major fight. Both now above 40 military already. Vortix still no extra gold to come behind this one. Oh, did I just see some siege moving in here? Why?
Yeah, he's
what
going
is
for
this
it.
attack?
He's going for it. He's going for broke. Springald's now shooting at trebuchets and Springald. So far, he didn't get the jump on the trebuchets yet, but he's all too happy to move in. He's getting shots off. One trebuchet goes down. He's looking to alleviate some light pressure, bringing that trebuchet count down. Keep in mind, the more villagers you would have repairing a building, if that's what a Holy Roman Empire is going to do, the less it scales advantageously. There's a linear progression of resource spending in repairing, but there is a regressive relationship to how much HP you're getting per second. So you don't want to have to out-repair 3 trebuchets. It's too costly. Well, now he doesn't have to out-repair any. He just killed the final trebuchet here. Big siege numbers here for Beastyqt, sponsored by that Relic Gold. But the Knights are coming in, killing a Mangonel, a Springald, and more.
Oh, this is so good. Some Springald losses as well, but it's simply Beastyqt understanding the situation. If I buy time, that is good for me. And he's killed all of those traps, buys himself some time. Some Knight suicided there, some miscontrol in the army, but he just knows, okay, that was really nice for me, and he's still doing pressure against that keep. If he's holding, that's good for him.
What happens when the keep goes down? Does Vortix have a fallback plan? Does he want to go to Imperial and get some of those Royal Culverins? Or is he saying it's castle or never?
It feels like castle never. It feels like... No, I think no matter how I answer this question, it feels wrong.
Yeah. That proves that our confidence for Vortix is already dropping here. Kind of a catch-22 again, same as last game. Go for the side, go for the main. Oh, nice dodge.
Ooh.
I think they mostly dodged it. I feel like some took some damage from it. You can actually take damage as you go inside sometimes, leading to the ghost villager situation that fires but does not exist, Schrodinger's villager. But yeah, that was a really quick reaction there by Vortix. He's still pumping out Springalds. Yeah, okay. 2 Springalds at a time.
Trap still sitting in the back as well. And now we see Landsknecht. Hello, some land snakes by our HRE player. We now see more Albertiers Chivalry flying in as well. The big question though, if this one is raided, where's actually the next wood line for Beastyqt?
Oh,
maybe the observer can look at that. Let's try to find woodlines, because you normally only... Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, let's... Next, accessible woodlines. No.
Ooh.
Beastyqt is on the timer, actually. Beastyqt is on the timer, Grubby.
So, yeah.
Plot twist.
Plot twist. The table's turn. Beastyqt, he must be buying wood then. But he's getting 900 wood per minute.
Oh, and he just checked.
Oh,
Vortix just checked
the
there with the
illusion
shots.
of due diligence, but no Neely Scout here.
Honestly, that's what I said, right? Put a Neely Scout at each entrance, and the bottom part would not have happened. The top part wouldn't happen now.
Yep, just be perfect and see everything.
How am I that smart?
Big Mangonel shots here on the archer ball of Vortix. His crossbows, his artillery, his archers, they're running away. Mangonel's closing the gap, they're getting a shot off. These are homing missiles. Bam, bam, bam-a-lam. Another 10 fall here. The keep goes down. Vortix is being driven out, flushed out of the base that Beastyqt is finally reclaiming. He needs to get his wood line back in order. He's out of wood, he's got the gold. But can you imagine the wood prices at this time?
Oh, they have to be pretty damn high. I think you can actually... No, you can't click the... Oh yeah, you can hover over it.
As observer?
Yeah.
Shall we hover over it?
Maybe we find a market for our HRE player and try to go for that. Now the big question, does our observer have a hotkey prepared for the market? And he probably said no and wants to go to fight because he doesn't want to look stupid on stream looking at the base and trying to find a market. No. Something funny is still happening though. We have 3 relics in the Regnitz Cathedral, right?
He doesn't know where the market is.
Oh, next one.
Oh, yeah.
And now we
How
have
much
to,
is the wood?
we
Can we
have to
hover over
hover
the D?
over the D, yeah.
Hover
And
over the D. What? He didn't buy any wood?
What?
Or Ops doesn't show. But I think it does.
I think it does.
Okay, so Beastyqt needs to buy wood or food. Wait, can we see the food? S?
No. Okay, then keep your secrets to yourself.
But look
Age
at
of Empires
Beastie's
4.
back. Frodo smile. But he has a lot of gold. So I really think he hasn't been trading as much as he could. But back to the situation here. I see a Ride of the Valkyries here, but instead it's trebuchets. We've got all these wall setups on the perimeters. Beastyqt finally gets breathing space. He gets villager counts. He gets out of his base, able to reclaim his wood lines, the sacred wood lines. And, I mean, what's Vortex going to do?
Oh no. Oh,
What are you
no.
going to do?
Oh, no.
Villager rush? Vortex
Grubby.
is like,
Grubby.
see?
Hold my hand. That's like 3 mangonels. What is happening here?
¿Por qué?
Oh, what? Why is he going for the stone there?
He wants keeps.
But he has more stone close by
But-
to his starting base.
But
Oh no. Oh no.
what is this, Vortex?
Oh no.
Explain yourself.
And it's still Beastyqt, population lead, income lead. He can sit back. You see his army. Like, he has no real intention to move out. He knows if this game goes long, HRA pretty good.
Pretty good. He's getting his textiles upgrade. In comes the keep again. There's a deja vu I saw before. We've got mangonels, knights, and men-at-arms coming out here. Beastyqt is diversifying his army.
Oh, good.
A lot of springles, a lot of mangonels. Can they get in range?
Villagers just running into their death. That's not really a thing. Mangonels are doing such a good job. Villagers at the top. Now they're retreating. And, got everything pushed back. Vortex had an idea, but Beastyqt clapped it back.
Yeah, he clapped him back big time. Vortex was moving in on villagers with his villagers like it was an all-in. But he's still in the game. He's still in the game. He pulled back with the villagers. Thought, hey, that doesn't work out. We'll never know exactly what his plan was. But damn, a nice hold there by Beastyqt. Obviously, mangonels do pretty well to villagers.
And it was the tight choke as well, right? He had the double palisade walls there. They're so
True.
good. Just set them up, and then if the opponent is like funneled into the small opening, those mangonels become so much better. Something that I wanted to say, but I don't want to be that guy. French have cheaper economy upgrades. How can we have a 36-minute game and just finish or just started the second eco upgrade?
Unacceptable. No broad axis, no horticulture, no mining picks, no wheelbarrow. I think it's very much a frame of mind kind of thing. Vortex, he said, if I'm going all in, I don't need this. If I need to be aggressive and if I want to peek out in the next 3 minutes, I don't need this. But he didn't know it went 4, 5, 6, and now we're at 36 minutes. It would have been good retroactively, but let's not forget, in fairness, 12 minutes into the game, Vortex had less than 100 resource of all 4 categories. That's not easy to do. Back then, I would say it was valid.
Yeah.
Maybe at 15 minutes it was valid, but there was a moment somewhere, and he missed that moment.
Yeah. It's a bit like if you are waiting for something and you feel like, do I want to go check? And you feel like, nah, not really. And then like, but now, no, but I already
It's like
waited
you've
so
been
long. And
walking around Copenhagen for a while, and like you didn't want to ask the way. You think you're lost, but like asking someone would be like admitting a mistake. If you double back, you've wasted time, and now you're just doubling down, but you know it's wrong because it's raining, and you're still not making it to dinner on time. You know that feeling?
No,
Yeah, it happens.
I'm German. I'm always on time.
Oh, damn. Then you probably noticed I was 5 minutes late this morning too, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Oh, damn.
I said 12 sharp.
Yeah.
I'll just cut it from your castle salary.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Awkward silence, not casting anymore.
Grubby calculating. Oh god, I spent all day calculating villager costs and efficiency. How's
Wait,
my
how much is that?
salary
5
increasing?
minutes? How many hours am I here? We cool. Vortex is also cool. He made it to Imperial Age. He's got a red palace. But a red palace is a building, and what are trebuchets good at?
Killing buildings.
That's true, nearly.
Yeah.
That is true. And there's a lot of mangonels and springles there. to back this up.
But Sprinkles for the defense now and Sprinkled range. So the moment we see Vortix getting to like 6 himself, that could actually be a really good option as a defense there. But big if, and then still like, this is where Beastyqt shines so much. And that's what I mentioned in the last cast we did together. If I watch a Beastyqt game, if it's on his stream, and he's minute 10, I tune back, cook, order something from HelloFresh, and cook the whole meal and be done before he even moves out of his base.
Yeah, that's true. And even though HelloFresh meals are very convenient, tasty, healthy, with fresh ingredients, easily prepared alongside with the recipe, and they're so tasty you wouldn't want to take long in eating them, even though that is all so convenient and fast, nonetheless, you would still not have the game finished when you get back. That's sick.
Feels Beastyqt, man. And now he's the one still having the full Sprinkled control. And we know how good he is at controlling this one. Now tries to wrap around, but not really going to happen against what looks like 6 Mangonels. They're trying to go for a counter-attack there. Not really an option. And it just feels like Beastyqt is 100% in his comfort zone here. Mass siege, relic advantage. He knows, like, he enjoys every single additional second so much.
Yeah, exactly. He would, if this game wasn't very busy, he would put his hands pointed at the monitor and say, like, I love this. I love every second of this. And unfortunately for him, it's over. But fortunately for him, it's over with a victory. Beastyqt gets the victory. 3-1 in the second best of 5 of the day. Well done. Well done.
We're seeing some smile. We're seeing some smile. Oh, yeah. Vortix as well. He was like, damn, I kind of hate what happened, but you are asking me. Like probably Beastyqt is telling you, what a nice game. And Vortix is sitting there.
No, it wasn't that good. He's like, no, dude, that was great.
It was nice. I had 3 relics, you saw?
You saw that? The way my record is generating gold, he's like, yeah, I know, I was trying to stop you. He's like, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
And then you thought I walled, but only twice? No, I had a 3rd wall behind that.
Yeah, and then Vortix
was
like,
brilliant.
yeah, it's that 3rd wall, and I might try to make a keep in your base.
Yeah. But then
I'm sure that's exactly how the conversation went. Would not be obnoxious at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beastyqt taking the W, will face another winner tomorrow, potentially Leenock. Potentially someone like MarineLorD, potentially someone like DeMusliM, Viper, his brother.
Couldn't be LucifoN.
No, not his brother. Could not be. Could.
Yeah, could also be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Damn. Very, very strong play. And the fashion in which Beastyqt did it is impressive as well. Because, yeah, he lost to Mongols, but he matched up the draft well. So his preparations were good. I would say he out-mind-gamed and out-drafted Civ per map, kind of. But more than that, I think that's really only a small part of it. More than that, he came back from deficits.
Yeah.
Big deficits.
170 against 120 population multiple times. This one, like, I was actually already in full hypecaster mode, where he went down to like 4 military, pop 30, and the opponent was 50 and under his town center.
Yeah.
We had the same earlier. It's just crazy how
I had to reel him back in there. He was like hanging over the monitor. I'm like, hold on, there's none. It's not over yet.
Yeah, he might get relics. Still be security. If he finds his wall hotkey, he still has a chance.
And he did. And, Vortix broke through many times. He had that keep, but he was unable to actually finish it off entirely.
Yeah, and we will jump over into an interview done by the two of us. So, well, we will just go over there, and production will love that. We'll love that, right? Full TV crew, they love, like, you're throwing down your microphone, like, what is happening? And we will just
threw it to the ground.
Over there, guys, saying highlights. Oh yeah. Production also told us before you go to the interview.
They did tell me that, and they told me too. But I yield to the boss.
The funny thing is, I knew what we were doing right, and right now was wrong.
We roll with the punches here. Let's take a look at some of the best moments of the game.
Look at that reintention. Oh, triple barracks here. What are we seeing, Grubby?
Exactly. So you go to a pond. You're looking to feed the ducks. You see a goose. You're like, oh, beautiful, a goose. You look around, you're like, wait, second goose, third goose, but they're hidden away. They're like hiding behind the fronds, behind the lilies. And suddenly you're like, that's a gaggle. Like, now I'm in trouble.
And they're like, suddenly Music intensified.
Music
and
intensified.
Push in the corner.
Abruk!
You try to throw your bread at them.
The bread, do nothing! Suddenly men-at-arms everywhere in your base, you don't know what to do anymore.
And look at that.
What's also dominant is Beastyqt's army size here. That's so many units, so many horses, so many archers. Vortix is gonna call it. Nice knight control there. Vortix really getting his money's worth. Men-at-arms are coming in. Longbows are trying to hold their own, hold the fort and defend. But the floodgates are open. He's throwing buckets of water out of a boat that is already at the bottom of the ocean.
Not really the greatest scenario. And as we can see, Men-at-Arms just ruffle stomping this one. And Mongols, we said they could struggle a bit against English, but we felt English
Knights are now diving the town center. It's not immediately noticed. 1, 2, maybe 2 villagers fall. Maybe it was just 1.
reasonable reaction for Surrender being killed means those spearmen become stronger, and he's only targeting those archers. Let's take a look at that. Now reaching Castle Age, we don't have any barracks set up, so that army is not too crazy. And look at that, pretty massive attack here in Feudal Age.
Yeah, and what's Beastyqt's first reaction? Textiles, getting villager health. Suddenly, he's the defender. Look at the rest of his production queue. There's nothing. He's not getting any upgrades right now for his knights. He's got 4 wood while gathering 0 wood right now.
Yep.
He can't get any upgrades from his school of cavalry. He just reached Castle Age and he's unable to use it nearly. What a great timing attack by Vortex.
The loud armies now coming in, and those farmers did not finish those, and we will see some losses.
Finally, those berries that he remembered. He couldn't forget about those berries. Finally, he's there with his knights, cutting through and killing villagers. We have a villager count of 70, and it's dropping fast. He's been...
That was one of the games where you had such a big comeback. Beastyqt taking it 3-1. How do you feel? Not a lot of people thought it would be like the clean way to victory for you.
I feel pretty good. I expected to, you gotta expect to win if you want to actually do well, right? So I expected to win against Vortex, but some of the games were very weird. Namely, the Avocid one was very... I thought the game was over, so I wanted to drag it out just so I can maybe buy some time, make him tired, because it is a best of 5. But somehow I managed to come back, and yeah, I'm very happy about that game specifically.
BC, you had no business winning that game. You had 0 wood. You were gathering 0 wood. More than half of your villagers were idled. You got to a 20 villager deficit. You didn't have enough wood to get your veteran knights out. How dare you win the game afterwards? He walled you out. He had double TC.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there was a point where he did a counterattack, and I was like, oh, I know I'm behind, right? So I was like, let's try counterattack. He walled off, and I just saw that he hit castle, and I was like, oh, the game is over. So let me just try to, delay the game, make something happen, and I went for the, sacred site win, which I think is always good with any civ. And he kind of kept going back and forth around the northern side of his wood because I kept counterattacking, and I felt like he started bleeding units. I was like, oh, there's my chance. If I just maintain the middle, kind of establish my economy and just get keep after keep, I can maybe hold, and I figured out that's my only chance to win.
He threw you a curveball in game number 1. Men-at-arms rush. When did you know that it was coming, and were you afraid?
Yeah, so I picked Delhi got Delhi versus HRE, and I thought that was a very good matchup for me. But then when I went to scout, like what he was going for, I saw Man-at-Arm come out. So I was like, oh, he's going to go Spearman Man-at-Arm to try to prevent Sacred Sites. I went back, and then I saw like 10 Men-at-Arms in front of my base, and I was like, am I going to die to this? Because I've never seen it before. So I was like, if he's doing it, it's probably good. So I was worried that I'm just going to straight up die. And I was like, no, this is not good, because no one does it. And then the units just weren't dying. So I was like, oh God, I'm going to lose to this in game 1 with like a good civ. So I got my scholars out, and I started, actually microing units. I started, healing, pulling back the horsemen. And once I defended, because I never played against it, I wasn't sure where in the game I am. But when I saw that he's not mining gold, he was mining gold with 2 workers, I think, and I had sacred sites, I kind of knew the game was over at that point.
Sick, yeah. So you checked for that transition, and you saw like not really a transition coming. That was an awesome series, but the final game really worthy of being that final game. What a roller coaster. He pushed you back. He had you on the ropes, killed many villagers. He delayed your relics by a long time. Then he got to keep up in your base. And he repeatedly poured army all over your base. You had this weird little expeditionary villager force at the south side that didn't get spotted for a while. That was crucial to some of your war efforts. But did you think you're going to game 5 at any point in that game?
Initially, when the push was it was kind of like a roller coaster, because when the push was coming, I felt fine because I was like, oh, I'm delaying him. But then the food became an issue, so I didn't have enough to produce. When I finally defended and he got the keep, I actually felt very comfortable because I knew that he was mining stone, so he's slowing down. And I figured if I just do a trebuchet or two, it's going to put so much pressure on him. Meanwhile, I don't have to repair my buildings because HRE. So I felt very comfortable, and I kind of got into my game, Like, okay, we'll play this game, You're on one side, I'm on the other side.
How many of those games did you have before?
Too many. Too many. He actually mentioned that was a weird game, and I was like, no.
No, not really. 3 times the
played that one before, but, yeah, once I got into that situation, got trebuchets out, I saw that he has siege workshops next to the keep, so I knew that he was extremely all in from that point of view. So I knew that I should just commit into siege, make sure my trebuchets don't die, my mangonels don't die, and just kind of take it slow. And there was a point where I used 3 mangonels when he wasn't looking, and I sniped so many range units.
Yep.
It's a juicy one.
Juicy one indeed. Well, that was a big win for you, Beastyqt. You're actually going to cast the next set, right? And we probably didn't need, so we don't keep you for too long. But certainly, congratulations. You're going to face a winner tomorrow. What would be your preferred opponent?
I'd like to play against Leenock.
Okay.
I have a pretty good record against him and did well in practice versus him, so I think it'd be a good match for me.
Okay, then best of luck in the draws. And we will see you perform again tomorrow on the battlefield and on the mic in the next set. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Quickly eat. Right, you can go. You can go.
Can I go too?
You're allowed to go as well. Yeah. Just me now and trying to fill some time. Grub, thanks for the cast. And
Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, we will.
For the rest of the
Yeah, for the whole Swiss date.
yes.
Nice.